heartbreaking. This was a horrific tragedy.
And that is correspondent Jim Root. All but one of the 34 victims' bodies have been recovered. A federal judge ruled the government's watch list of people identified as known or suspected terrorists violates the constitutional rights of those placed on it. A summary judgment was granted to the nearly 24 Muslim U.S. citizens who challenged the watch list, but the judge is seeking additional legal briefs before deciding what remedy to impose. I'm Barbara Kumsak.
Tapped into the truth frequency.
Truth Frequency Radio.
The conference is now locked. Orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's September 4th, 2019. Today is Beyonce's 38th birthday. And out of the many things that we discuss on this program, the Gematria effect, the ancient practice of coding numbers into words, arguably the most important subject is the subject of murder by numbers. And again, there's a movie out there called Murder by Numbers. There's a song out there called Murder by Numbers. There's another song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name. If you look up the movie poster for Murder by Numbers, you'll see that only 2 letters are changed to numbers. The E is changed to a 3, and the B is changed to an 8. 3-8. The song Murder by Numbers came out by the band The Police in the year 1983. 8338. In Gematria, murder sums to 38 and 83. Today on Beyonce's 38th birthday, the big news is the death of LaShawn Daniels, who wrote the song Say My Name, which he won a Grammy for. And from the day he died, which was last night, September 3rd, the day before Beyonce's 38th birthday, from his death to his upcoming birthday, he would have turned 42 years old this December 28th. From his death to his birthday is 116 days. Say My Name, the name of that song, sums to 116. And he died on September 3rd, 9-3. Beyonce Giselle Knowles equals 93. Grammys equals 93. Won the Grammy for that song for Beyonce and Destiny's Child. And on her 38th birthday, this death, a big story. And again, you learn this code of letters and numbers, which is elementary knowledge. You could teach it to a second grader. You could teach it to anyone who understands the English alphabetic order and has basic arithmetic skills. And you can apply this knowledge and see through the rituals day after day, month after month, year after year. Hoping we don't have a problem on the call board today. I'm seeing a lot of people call in and hang up instantly. And that could be a sign that there's some sort of glitch. If you've never listened before, this is a caller-driven show. If you want to call in tonight, it's always good to call in early. Hopefully there isn't a glitch. Some people are sitting there on hold, but I'm seeing a lot of people phone in and hang up instantly, so maybe there's some sort of problem. But if you do want to call in, the number is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. Lots to talk about. Let's try out the call board to see if it is working tonight. Nebraska? Can you hear me?
Oh, what's going on?
All right.
Yeah, what's going on, Zach?
Sounds like it's working for you at least.
Yep. Yeah, I called the Patreon earlier today about the 199th all-time meeting between the Packers and the Bears tomorrow. 46 prime number 199. I thought that was pretty interesting. But when I was looking up stuff yesterday, man, I came across that football reference site. And yeah, like I was saying earlier, like they got every death from every season. I'm just going through the season. I'm in the 2018 season right now. I just went to the previous season, 2017 pro football deaths. And these are deaths. These are players and like coaches, owners, anybody like pretty much connected to the NFL or like had some kind of high position with a team, chairman, principal owner, things like that. But like it's literally logged to every death for the year. It's crazy. Didn't know they had this stat, but definitely lets me know that this stuff is by the numbers. And there's also some I came across a football player. Like I was looking at all these football players. Wikipedia also has a page that has a list of players who died while they were actually active. And there's a long list of players that died during their NFL careers. It's pretty funny. And there's a name I came across. There's a lot of names I came across that were interesting. But one that stood out to me was Justin Skaggs. He was an Arena Football League player, but he also played a few years with a few teams in the NFL. But yeah, that Justin Skaggs, it just stood out to me just because of his last name. But I don't believe he has any relation to Tyler Skaggs because he's from Missouri, and I think Tyler Skaggs was from the West Coast or something. But yeah, I thought that was very weird, very eerie. But yeah, the Wikipedia page has a list of all players that died during their career and how they died. And if you just look at the cause of the death, man, it's pretty sad, man. Accidents, gunshots, and weird brain hemorrhaging, just a whole bunch of accidental, murderous types of deaths that is just shows that this league has a definite dark side. I mean, why would they keep track of player deaths? I mean, I guess somebody's going to keep track of it, but I don't know. This is like a real NFL stat, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, that's all I had. Also, I thought was pretty interesting that the Bears in Chicago, they also had two players who died while they were active with each team during World War II. What's his name? Young Bussey and something Smiley Johnson. For those two guys, I thought that was pretty funny that they both played for Packers and the Bears, and they both died during World War II in 1945. That 45 has been showing up a lot lately, but yeah, that's all I had. Like, please, Zach, definitely get on that Pro Football Reference website. Look through these deaths. I mean, it shows the team. I mean, it shows, like, if it's an owner, it shows his total wins with the team. I mean, it shows all their stats, and it shows the depth. So please, check this out. I mean, I know you can easily connect riddles with this once you see it, but
yeah, well, just so you know, while you were talking, I actually looked it up and found it, and I'm just alarmed at how many NFL-related deaths are already here in 2019. It's just like mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was about to say too. Like, there's like 50 or 60 dudes that died this year.
I think there's more than that, man. There's over 90. There's over 90. There's No, actually, I'm counting. It goes up to
crazy.
100 here. There's at least 100.
That's crazy, and that's just this year. Like, and you just go back through the year. Like, that's so many dead people that have something to do with the NFL. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of them are older, but still, man, it's weird, man. And I don't know, man. I think it's something that's definitely going to get us ahead of the curve with these riddles for sure.
Yeah, you can sort it by the age range. The youngest football player to die this year was 26. The oldest was 100. And, of course, here we are in the 100th NFL season. So, yeah, I'll look more at this. I didn't realize this existed. This is interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, that's all I have. Zach, just want to hang out for the show, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for the call. You have a good night, friend.
No problem.
All right, take care, man.
Yep.
So I think the first three people who called in who are all on hold, I think they're good to go because they're not getting kicked off. But I'm just noticing how every single person who's calling in, it's calling in and hanging up instantly. So there is some sort of glitch, but somehow these first three people made it in. So we might have to wait until the commercial break. Might have to do a system reset to get over this. Not sure what's going on here. Let's go out to Philadelphia.
Hey, Zach, how are you tonight?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
I just wanted to thank you for everything that you do. I mean, you've opened so many people's eyes, including myself, to what's really going on. And I can't wait for the website to be put up because I definitely want to check that out.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear you're enthusiastic about that because I want it to be a big success. It's a big investment, and I'm hoping it helps a lot of people make new friendships and really jumpstarts this movement.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. That's all I have tonight. I just wanted to say that.
Are you sure, man? Because tonight's a great night to run with it because it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get any more callers in here. There's just one after you, and then everybody else who's trying to call in right now, they're just getting disconnected instantly. So somehow you beat the glitch before it came into effect.
Okay. Well, I was going to hold off on this until next week, but I'll put it in now since. Okay. I'm not saying that you should watch this movie, but it was a Steven Spielberg movie from back in 1977. It was called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's got a lot of references to. It's got a lot of demonic stuff in it, disguised as aliens and stuff. And at the final climactic scene at the end of the movie even takes place at Devil's Tower.
Huh.
And the mothership, the first time the mothership shows up at the end of the movie, it doesn't descend from the clouds like you would expect it to. It actually rises up from behind the mountain.
Huh.
Or Devil's Tower, like if it's ascending from a pit or something.
Sure.
So there's a lot of references to the fallen angels in that movie. I mean, it's just that whole movie is just really it's satanic. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I've heard that title many times. I haven't seen the movie myself. You saying the mountain makes me think of the fallen angels, and also it makes me think of military bases. A lot of military bases in mountains. So I will have to check that out.
Yeah, and also Richard Dreyfuss. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's a 33rd degree Mason. He was in the movie. He was the main character in the movie.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to add it to my list. Appreciate it, friend.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, you have a good night. You take care. All right.
You too.
All right. Thank you. All right, Flint, Michigan, the last caller to make it in. Yeah, everybody who's trying to call in right now, I see you guys calling in and it just hangs up on you instantly. I haven't seen that glitch for months. It's happened before. So when we get to the commercial break, I'll do a reset of the system. I have a feeling that'll solve the glitch. I'm not sure why it happens sometimes, but after the first commercial break, we'll reset it. But Flint, Michigan was the last caller in before it began. Flint? Flint, are you there? If I remember right, I think Flint called in last week and was silent too. So maybe Flint just calls in and listens. All right, I think Flint is just listening. Oh, hello. Hi, Flint. Flint, I hear you.
I think I'm just listening.
Oh, you're just listening. Okay, well, thank you for listening, Flint. You have a great rest of your day. Appreciate it.
God bless you.
All right, you take care, friend. All right, well, I don't think we're going to be able to get to any more callers until after the first commercial break. And if you are into researching football and the darker side of the NFL, as the first caller put it, these ritualistic murders, which come more commonly than most people realize, there's a website, profootballreference.com. If you go to that website, you have to type in /years, YEARS, well, then whatever year you want to look at for the deaths. But if you wanted to look at them for this year, so pro-football-reference.com /years /2019 /deaths.htm, and that'll pull up the page. And I'm just overwhelmed by how many there are. And a fair amount are elderly, but there's plenty of young people on here too. And I'm going to be investigating this. I've already covered a few of these this year, but I didn't realize just how many there'd been. And things we've talked about already. You know, we've seen 2 former Kansas City Chiefs die this offseason. One died on the 100th day of the year. Again, this year is going to be the 100th NFL season. And not only did he die on the 100th day of the year, but he died 100 days from his upcoming birthday. And what's interesting about 100, when you write out 100 as a word, in Gematria it sums to 54, like how this year will be Super Bowl 54. His name sums to 54. And then another Kansas City Chief died May 4th, 5-4, and his name sums to 54, just using the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order of the rules of numerology. And a lot of the football players who are dying this year, as we've covered in recent weeks, their names sum to 54. So I see a man named Stacy Harvey, former linebacker in the NFL, died at age 54 on July 28th. Didn't realize that until I looked at the reference. And then I noticed what day his birthday was, March 8th, 3/8. A number that shows up around suspicious deaths so often. And, well, we got a few minutes for the commercial break. And since I can't get the callers in right now, I noticed big focus today with regards to Hurricane Dorian. Remember, Hurricane Dorian, the small weighs 94. Today's September 4th. Hurricane Dorian, the big way, is 247. Today's the 247th day of the year. Dorian alone sums to 38, like death, like murder, like killing. This storm devastated the Bahamas 46 years after it got its independence. Flooding equals 46, chaos 46. And now it's been traveling up the East Coast, and they've been doing a lot of fear mongering all up and down the East Coast. Again, all these storms, fear brings sales. These storms sell out stores. But today in the headlines, I saw Dorian claims first life in U.S. They said an 85-year-old man fell off a ladder while prepping his house for the storm and died. So he wasn't actually killed by the storm itself, but died while prepping. And in light of him being 85 years old, interesting number because storm equals 85, the flood equals 85. And they said he fell off a ladder. ladder equals 118. Today's September 4th leaves 118 days left in the year. Death equals 118. A few years ago, you had the death of Joan Rivers on this day. It was on Beyonce's 33rd birthday. There were two close comedian deaths. Robin Williams died on August 11th, 118, death 118. But also, I see the latest headline on CNN right at this moment. Death toll rises in Bahamas. And it's just been a day of death headlines. You have the mother of the rapper Trina dead. You have news about Mac Miller's death and how his drug dealer's been arrested for his overdose death. You have Beyonce's songwriter dead on Beyonce's birthday, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. Again, Beyonce turned 38 years old today. Death, murder, killing, RIP 38. The number encoded on the movie poster of Murder by Numbers. And the latest headline is at least 20 people dead in the Bahamas. Death with the alphabetic order is 38, death with the alphabetic order and rules numerology is 20, and death in Jewish Gematria is 118, like today leaves 118 days left in the year. So, that's that headline, and we began by talking about LaShawn Daniels. Again, that was Beyonce's songwriter, dead at age 41. And again, just to understand how these numbers are a language, dead at 41. The news today on the day leaving 118 days left in the year. Can you remember what was in the headlines on this day 1 year ago, September 4th, 2018? If you can't remember, it was George Herbert Walker Bush. He was honored in his state of Maine, like to stay in, what was that town called? Kennebunkport. But he was honored for his 1,000 Points of Light speech a year ago today, September 4th, 2018. And remember, today leaves 118 days left in the year. In the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, George Herbert Walker Bush equals 118. When you write out 41 as a word, George Herbert Walker Bush was the 41st president. When you write out 41 as a word with the alphabetic order, it sums to 118. Bush, the 41st president, his full name 118. When you write out skull and bones in the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, it sums to 41. H.W. was a member of Skull and Bones, just like his son George W., who also became president of the United States. And Skull and Bones gets its symbolism from an ossuary, a way to bury the dead. Ossuary with the alphabetic order is 118. So you see how it all comes together? 41, 118, and now a year later you're reading about a dead 41-year-old on the day leaving 118 days left in the year. And not an accident. It's, again, because these numbers are a language to themselves. The name LaShawn Daniels in the most pure cipher sums to 52. Today has 52 date numerology. You're reading about this man's death today, again on Beyonce's 38th birthday. When you turn the alphabetic order around, when you run it in reverse, the name LaShawn Daniels sums to 83 like murder. Again, like how the song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. He's dead 116 days from his birthday. Again, remembered for the song Say My Name, which he won a Grammy for. Say My Name equals 116, which was sung by Destiny's Child, where Beyonce was the big star. So it's just twisted. And I'd like to go, I wish I could find out who gave him the nickname Big Shiz. That was his nickname, Big Shiz, which sums to 44 like kill. And again, another number that shows up around suspicious deaths so often. Also in the headlines, the death of Trina's mother from cancer, chemo, and kill, just using the alphabetic order, 44. Trina, the rapper who, had some big songs in the 90s, she's 44 years old right now when her mother goes. And same old patterns day after day. When Big Shiz who was LaShawn Daniels, won his Grammy. It was February 21st, 2001, a date with 44 numerology. Grammys equals 93, died on September 3rd, supposedly from a car crash. You know, what are the odds? What are the odds? And I see one of the callers who's trying to phone in is getting clever, so he called the backup Gematria hotline. I've seen you trying to call in, so I'm going to let you go on the backup hotline. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Zach? I just tried to call into the show. For some reason, my number is blocked. For some reason, I'm not sure why.
Well, your number's not blocked. There's some glitch. The first 3 people who called in got on the call board, and like right now, somebody's trying to call in. Right now, somebody's trying to call in. They're all getting hung up on instantly. So that's why I said after the commercial break, I'm going to reset the call board, and hopefully it corrects the problem. If it doesn't, I'll just put out this number and people can call in the backup number. But yeah, okay, it's some sort of glitch. So
okay, sorry about that, man. The message is giving me saying something about restrictions and TFR. Someone needs to take off the restrictions. I'm not sure what it means.
Huh? Yeah, this used to happen a lot, but it hasn't happened for about 6 months. And if I can't get it to work after the commercial break, we'll just go to the backup line. So we're almost to the commercial, so I'll try that reset here in just a moment.
All right, man, appreciate it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Take care, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about that message. We got just 1 minute here till actually more like 30 seconds. We're almost there. Who saw Andrew Luck Day declared yesterday in Indianapolis on September 3rd? Indianapolis Colts equals 93. Andrew Luck was the star quarterback of the Colts who just retired by the numbers. He retired 142 days after his father's birthday. His father's name, Oliver Luck, equals 142. Andrew Luck Day equals 142. And the small way it sums to 74, just like how he retired on Vince McMahon's 74th birthday. Vince McMahon runs the new XFL, who his father's the CEO of. You know, again, you learn this code, you just see through so many rituals. We'll be right back, everybody.
Works in keeping my blood pressure in normal range. I've been using it in 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 18. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extend Life today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extend Your Life.
Balance of nutrients, fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's a great product. And the one thing I like about it the most is that when you open the bottles, you can smell like the scent. There's no genius thing to it. It's really just fruits and veggies, which everyone eats. And you guys kind of put it in a way where you can take it easy and you can get it, and it's natural. That's what I like. Yeah, I like the product. I've taken it, and it's definitely made me feel a lot better. I'm a healthy person to begin with. But it's definitely good prevention, and it definitely gives me energy, and I feel like it's a natural thing. I like it. I really do.
For a limited time, use discount code TALK to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8755 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Again, use discount code TALK.
Jacob Frank Leibovich is the mastermind behind a global network of satanic cults. He taught that the creator God was evil, Jacob Frank proclaimed himself as the true Messiah. He vowed never to tell the truth. He rejected every moral law and declared that the only way to a new society was through the total destruction of civilization. Murder, rape, incest, and the drinking of blood were perfectly acceptable actions and rituals. His followers established the Marxist system and have infiltrated Islam and Judaism. He was the Messiah of the Illuminati. EnigmaTV.com.
We are TFR.
That is all I need for now.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. I'm trying to troubleshoot the problem. I did a system reset of the call board, but it appears that everyone's calling in and being hung up on instantly. So if you're out there and you're trying to call in, we're going to have to go to the backup hotline and realize the backup line's not a call board. Well, somebody's already phoning in on it, but that number is 509-731-0567. It is a cell phone. I can only take one call at a time. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Hey, it's Jim Minowick. I called you earlier this week. I did. You checked on my Twitter, if you remember. But I got a good one for you today.
Okay.
If you go to dailymail.com, just on the front page, the top story should be about Donald Trump, the hurricane, and a Sharpie.
Huh. Okay.
Do you ever pulled up?
Well, it's hard because I'm holding a mic with one hand and a cell phone with the other.
Well, here, I'll break it down for you. So they've got two words capitalized in the headline here. Sharpie and older. And the headline here, if you want to take a look, it talks about Donald Trump denies using a Sharpie to alter a map to show an official hurricane to prove it could have done something. But they capitalized Sharpie and older. And if you remember my blog, I always break down the date numerologies, and I'm going somewhere with this. But if you take a look at the date numerology, you've got 25. So if you add 9 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 9, it comes out to 25. They've got the word Sharpie capitalized. If you type that out in Chaldean, it's 25, just like the date numerology. And they also have the word older capitalized. Only two words in that paragraph. Again, if you add up the date numerology, 9 plus 4 plus 20 plus 19, you get 52. If you type out that word older in 52, you get 52 in ALW Kabbalah. They also have the word prove in quotes in that headline, and that coincides with the date numerology as well. 9 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9 is 23. Prove adds up to 23 in reverse full reduction and reverse single reduction.
Okay, all right. So here, let's just do this. Instead of just break down every headline, let's just get to the point of it, because yes, they do this every single day with every single headline.
I'm getting to the point. Not only was it a mirror of 25 and 52 in the date numerology, but do you ever remember watching like the Never-Ending Story as a kid? Do you remember that movie?
I've heard of it.
He was reading the book as everything happened around him.
Right.
Right. So, in your opinion, like when you make a movie, you've got to write out a script that the actors then act out. So there's some power in writing the script. In your opinion, are these things a script? These headlines, are they a script that's written out, or have you ever seen where we perceive time as linear, but that's not really how it is? Time's more of a circle, and it's happening all at once. So here's a mind blower for you. What if by having newscasters verbalize these events with the same spells that we use in language, or write these events and we read them off the headlines? What if with our collective consciousness that's harnessed and they create these events live, and they can create past events because we perceive time as linear, as moving forward towards the future. But what if we just read the headlines and then boom, we created that because so many of us read it or so many of us watched that newscast?
Well, it is an interesting thought. It is possible. I do think a lot of this is scripted and planned theater, but there's obviously some power and magic to it. So, yeah, it's a great thought and a great question.
It's the same letters that you would read or that you would write, whether you're saying it or whether you're writing it. They carry the same vibrational energy, the same numeric energy. So that was a thought that I had. And then I also wanted to, you brought up like the XFL and that. I've got a channel, and I did a video on the XFL. They did the 8 cities. They released the 8 cities this past week and their team names. Oliver Luck did that, their CEO. So I've got a video up on my channel. I don't know if I could put it in the comments, and then maybe you could bring it up or something like that. It's a couple minutes long, but every city coincides with the team names in Gematria, which I found interesting, and I did one on the WWE roster as well. I've got over 100 wrestlers on there, and every single one of their names, either their full name, their first name, or their last name, equates to 33 in one cipher or another, which was just mind-blowing that it's every single wrestler. So I contribute a lot. I've got a lot of blog posts and everything like that. I go according to the date numerology, and I follow you in your work. I've been following you for a couple of years. My buddies called in, if you remember, with the 100 Monkey Effect. But I've got a lot of content out there, and I definitely want to be a part of the website once it gets built. Are you able to, like, I don't know, feature me under like the Gematria blog or something under the description, so I can get more people channeled over here and see this information that I've got in my end? Yeah,
do me a favor. Send me an email right now with a link to all your work, and I'll be sure to add it to the description of each one of my videos and get it posted on my blog. And then when the website's up, I'd be happy to help promote your work. So yeah, and consider once this community Facebook type thing for the truth seekers is built, you'll be able to promote your work on there and connect and network with more people too. So yeah, but send me that email, and I'm happy to get it out there.
I appreciate it. Just if you remember, it was dreaminawake88.tumblr.com is my blog, and then there's links to the videos and everything like that. But put a lot of hard work into it, and I kind of take a different aspect, but it blows my mind every single day that every single headline and the main points in it add up with the date numerology. I don't know what's going on, but it's something.
Yeah, every day. I've been documenting it for 6 years, so yeah, that's how it is, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you. You keep going, all right?
All right, will do. Have a good night. Take care.
Take care.
All right, lots of people phoning in. Just realize I can only pick up one call at a time, so you're going to have to get lucky tonight and be persistent. New York, what's going on?
Oh, I got through.
Wow, Rambo, see, it was meant for you to get through. Perfect timing.
Yeah, I usually never get through when we do it this way.
Tonight you did.
Yeah, thanks. Thank God. All right. I'm going to continue on a theme that I've been talking about almost every week lately. That is the goddess archetype and its influence on the esoteric underpinnings of history, current events in entertainment, sports, geopolitics, culture, everything. Everything appears to be part of a web, and the goddess archetype is at the center of the web. Last week, I very briefly mentioned the Greco-Roman cult of Cybele, or it's pronounced in different ways. It's Cybele, Cybele, or spelled with a K sometimes. Kybele, Kybele. And Rome was influenced by, that's mysticism. So that's actually where it goes back to, but the Romans had their version of it, the cult of Cybele, which influences a lot of what's going on today. From Cybele, CYB, like cube or Cybele, we get the word cube, which represents Saturn. And the cube also represents the three-dimensional prison that we are imprisoned in material form. That's what the cube represents. That comes from, the root of that is Cybele, Cybele. From Cybele, we also get Cabal and Kaaba and Kabbalah. The goddess, Cybele, Cybele, that's a goddess, was said to be a hermaphroditic being possessing male and female genitalia, but had the male genitalia severed, amputated by the other gods. Priests of the cult of Cybele were males who self-castrated and severed their own genitalia under a pine tree. Hence the giant pine cone sculpture at the Vatican. That's the giant pine cone sculpture at the Vatican. That piece is titled Fontana de la Pina. Pina, P-I-G-N-A, is Italian for pine. Priests of the cult of Cybele they assumed female roles, adopting female names, addressing as females, and played female roles with the relationships with males. In Jewish Gematria, Pina sums to 117, the number of the goddess, which is quoted into the Statue of Liberty, which stands on an 11-pointed star and has a 7-pointed crown. Someone in the last comment section last week mentioned that the Statue of Liberty has a rather square jaw. Well, yeah, that's true. No detail in their symbols are coincidence or accident. When you see that the cult of Cybele is at the heart of the ruling elite Illuminati mysticism, it stands to reason that the Statue of Liberty, which is presented as a female, also appears to be a young man. I can go more into detail on this important aspect of demystifying the controlling elite belief system later in the future, but for now, the goddess archetype I'll focus on, like I have been, is Venus, the goddess of love, and its role in almost everything at the present moment, especially women's tennis, as we approach the semifinals tomorrow, and the final on Saturday of the U.S. Open. It is difficult and debatable to ascertain precisely why the ruling elite evoked the sacred feminine goddess archetype. Often it's to destroy, ritualistically, the principle of love and care and emotion. But they often evoke the sacred feminine for themselves. In unveiling the occulted goddess code, it's important to note that the tropical zodiacal houses of Taurus and Libra are ruled by the planet Venus. So Taurus and Libra represent the goddess archetype. This is heavily coded into tennis, especially women's tennis. In Gematria, in the simplest cipher, ordinal, where A equals 1, B sums to 2, up until Z, which is the value of 26. Venus sums to 81. Tennis sums to 81. Tennis actually is 81 in ordinal and reverse, where Z is 1, Y is 2, A is 26. The reflection of 81 is 18. Venus sums to 18. Venus is the goddess of love. Love sums to 18. In tennis, no points or 0 is termed love. So 15 points to none or 2 sets to none in tennis is 15 love or 2 love. That's Venus coding into tennis. The name of the trophy for the Wimbledon women's champion is the Venus Rosewater dish. Of course, the most dominant female tennis player at the present era, if not all time, Serena Williams, is a Libra, and her sister's name is Venus. This brings me, with love being associated with Venus, to a new love code number. It was actually discovered by someone that Gematria Effect Sports on Patreon may be familiar with. That's a man known as the golf expert. You know, I've been talking to him. He discovered this. That the number 143 is a love code, and by extension, a Venus code number, 143. Earlier this year, 2019, the governor of Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania has Philadelphia. You know, Philadelphia is a city of brotherly love, so that's already a theme over there. The governor of Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf, declared May 23rd, the 143rd day of the year, as 143 Day in the state of Pennsylvania in honor of television personality Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, who is a Pennsylvania native. Mr. Rogers is defined by his empathetic, caring, positive persona. So 143 is a statewide day of kindness. Mr. Rogers used 143 on his TV show as a way to say, I love you, based on the number of letters in each word. I has one letter, love has 4 letters, you has 3 letters. That's 143. That's not based on Gematria, but I had to see if it does have some Gematria values, especially regarding the Venus code, the goddess of love. I mentioned how the elite like to evoke the goddess archetype for themselves when they start major projects. They do it as birthing rituals, such as the United States of America, July 4th, that's under Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. The moon influences the tide and water and determines monthly cycles, symbolic of amniotic fluid of the womb and female fertility. The Bavarian Illuminati was birthed on May 1st, 1776. That's under Taurus, ruled by Venus. The Zionist state of Israel was birthed under Taurus, May 14th. The Jesuit order, they were birthed on September 27th. That's under Libra. That's ruled by Venus. So they invoke the goddess for itself for birthing rituals. This brings me to the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association, founded on April 24th, 1996. A date under Taurus. That's the all-important Venus reference. April 24th leaves 251 days in the year. 251 is the 54th prime. 54 is the number of Venus in Gematria. But also, April 24th, 1996, 4/24/1996, has a date numerology of 143. That's 4 plus 24 plus 19 plus 96 is also 143. So the I love you code from Mr. Rogers is demonstrably linked with the Venus sacred feminine archetype when they determined the inauguration date of the foundation date of the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association. So this shows how even at government level, even at business, and even the business and sports sector, esoteric principles are used in everyday life. Which brings me to Serena Williams, who's a part of the Venus Code. She currently sits on either 820 or 821 career match wins. I'm not sure if they updated the latest stats online, but she's on the cusp of 823 career match wins. 823 is the 143rd prime. 143, that's that number again. So the I love you code from Mr. Rogers. So Serena Williams on the cusp of that. So what are the odds that after she gets that win, her 823rd, which is 143rd prime, what are the odds that after she gets the win, she declares courtside or at the post-match press conference, I love you. Most likely she's going to say it. And I'd like to thank the golf expert for he's the one who discovered that. So this is not my discovery. I shout out to him. So, and as if that's not enough on this theme, Serena Williams' father, Richard Williams, was born on Valentine's Day, February 14th. More examples of the sacred feminine Venus code being employed. we're all aware of the Valentine's Day blood ritual of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. The sacred feminine goddess archetype, as I've said, is coded into all prominent females. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas was a prominent female activist on civil rights and the environment. She is coded with the Venus code. Stoneman Douglas sums to 54 and 81. Just as Venus sums to 54 and 81. Venus, the goddess of love, and the Stoneman Douglas High School blood ritual was performed on Valentine's Day as a symbolic destruction of the sacred feminine. I want to comment on the U.S. Open women's semifinal and final. The semifinals tomorrow and the final Saturday. There was a ritual earlier this year, in 2019, that forecasted the women's Canadian Open, which arguably the Canadian Open is the fifth most prestigious tournament after the four majors. It forecasted the Canadian Open, and it's also tied into the current U.S. Open. So that ritual earlier this year was the June 16th, 2019 wedding of Caroline Wozniacki to former NBA player David Lee. A bridesmaid at Wozniacki's wedding was Serena Williams. The date of the wedding, June 16th, is the birthday of up-and-coming tennis star Canadian Bianca Andreescu. The bride, Caroline Wozniacki, her claim to fame, one of her claims to fame, is being the one-time fiance of golf superstar Rory McIlroy, who won the Canadian Open of golf exactly 1 week before his ex-fiance Wozniacki's wedding. So Wozniacki is tied to Rory McIlroy, who is tied to the Canadian Open. Serena Williams is the bridesmaid on Bianca Andreescu's birthday. Think of the term bridesmaid and its metaphorical meaning. Bridesmaid means runner-up, symbolically, or someone who comes close to victory but falls short. That's considered a bridesmaid. So think of the symbolism of Serena Williams as a bridesmaid on Bianca Andreescu's birthday. You fast forward 2 months from the wedding to the Canadian Open of women's tennis final, where Andreescu and Serena Williams meet in the final. Serena Williams retired injured in the first set, and Andreescu won the title. So Serena Williams was the bridesmaid again, this time to Bianca Andreescu, and that was all foretold by the wedding ritual. So, and the 2019 Women's Tennis Canadian Open, also to a degree, and the wedding foreshadowed the U.S. Open, because at the U.S. Open in the third round, Caroline Wozniacki faced Bianca Andreescu, and Andreescu won. And it's also notable that Bianca Andreescu's middle name is Vanessa. And according to Wikipedia, her middle name Vanessa was given to her because she was named after Vanessa Williams. So there's the other Williams connection there. So I think Andreescu actually is playing her quarterfinal tonight. She's going to play again tomorrow with no rest in between. If she wins that, her and Serena Williams are in separate semifinals. So if Andreescu plays Serena in the final, that is a repeat of the Canadian Open final. And in the Canadian Open final, Serena Williams retired. She didn't even finish the first set. She said she was injured. So it remains to be seen. To me, it looks like Bianca Andreescu will very likely meet Serena Williams in the final again. And also remember how this is tied into the Wendy Williams incident. The name Williams, when she was dressed as the Statue of Liberty and she passed out on live TV. But after she passed out, she recovered, came back on the air and said, "I'm a champ and I'm back." And that sounds like that's happening an athlete would say. So that might be a predictive programming for,
sure,
maybe for the U.S. Open. Maybe she passes, her passing out is her symbolic of her losing the Canadian Open at rest. Then she meets her again in the U.S. Open, and I'm a champ and I'm back. Maybe, yeah, that's just a thought. But yeah, that's my offering for today. I didn't think I was going to get on, but thanks again.
Well, it was meant to be. Great work as always, Rambo. Really appreciate it. And keep it up, friend. You have a good night.
All right, you too.
All right, take care. All right, so a little tip for the U.S. Open. Rambo always getting thorough with it. He's doing a great job of connecting the astrological pieces to the letters and numbers code. Houston, you're on.
Hi, my name's Crystal, and hope you're doing good tonight, Zed.
Thank you.
I have a channel called Crystal Clear Truth. I have a little under 2,000 subs, but no, I'm not calling to talk about me. I was calling because one of my subscribers that I also subscribe to, his name's Jeff Overholt, and he made a video to where he found all these profound, like 911 connections and 322 connections in association with September the 13th. So I was wondering if you found anything like that.
Well, I'm watching that date because that's the anniversary of the Oslo Accords and the Tisha B'Av weekend. We had the mosque shooting in Oslo, which was connected to the shooting on the Ides March 15th in New Zealand, where the shooter was inspired by the Oslo attacker. So yeah, my eyes are definitely on September 13th.
All right. Yeah, he was just later on. Because in different chats, I'll try to post a link.
You know what? Let's pause right there real quick because the commercial's about to kick in, and then we'll continue after the commercial break here. So just sit tight for one moment. Okay. All right. We'll be right back. Okay, we're on the commercial break. For people who are streaming on YouTube, the typical call-in line is not working tonight. I'm going to try doing another reset over the break. See if we can get it figured out here. I'm doing everything normal on my end.
It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are...
See if this fixes it. Okay, I just reset the phone line, but I just saw somebody call in. It hung up on them right away that fast. So I think the call board probably is not going to work this evening. So that means all night we're going to be using the backup line. Unfortunately, it's not a call board. It doesn't have call waiting. The backup line is a cell phone. And you're just going to have to get lucky with your timing. But again, I've posted that number in the YouTube video description. The backup number is 509-731-0567. Mike Aikman says, did Jake Morphonios ever accept your debate challenge? No, he just ignored me. So... Somebody writes, Zach, I have seen a lot of right-wing people in the truth community complain about immigrants taking American jobs due to affirmative action. Do you think this is legit or just another psyop? Well, I mean, a lot of the illegal immigrants take jobs that most people do not want, like working in the mass slaughter factory farms, you know, working out in the beating sun, tending to agriculture all day. And I always say if Americans really wanted those jobs, there probably wouldn't be any vacancies for the illegal immigrants to take those jobs. So, you know, instead of investing billions in a wall or sending billions to Israel, I always say, why not help build up Mexico, since we destroyed their agriculture with NAFTA, so that they don't have to come across the border for jobs? Why not be a good neighbor to the country that's right next door? You know what I mean? We're coming back from the commercial break in just a moment. We'll reconnect with our caller who's standing by. Commercial's almost over here.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Conditional range. Unlock conditional range. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question 30.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got 2 hours left. The call board's down tonight, but we are taking calls on the backup line, 509-731-0567, and we got a caller on hold right now. All right, friend, we're back. Caller?
I'm still here.
All right, perfect. Yeah, you're on.
Okay, yeah. No, I was just talking about this guy named Jeff Overholt. He has a channel, and I know he's been inspired by your work. Like, he works with the Gematria with dates and stuff, but he recently put together a video, and he said it's like the most profound. And he's called some things before they happened too. Like, as far as he had called recently a power outage that was in Hawaii, just by the numbers. Like, he does your same kind of work. But yeah, he was putting in like the differences between dates and just different people and just a whole bunch of different situations having to do with September 13th. And he was coming up with 322, like the difference between the dates, like just different times. It would be 322 or 911. And so I don't know, like in the past, I've tried to leave like a link to a video in a chat, but I don't think YouTube allows you to do that. But it's the last video he made, if you want to check it out, just to see, like, because I think that y'all are both really talented with that, and I think a lot of the things you'd be in agreement with, like your work kind of converges a lot.
Sure. I imagine it would. Sure. Do you want to promote your channel again? Do you want to promote your channel again and promote his channel?
Well, I haven't been really making as much content because I was labeled as crazy and like threatened with my daughter and stuff. So I've been kind of laying low. But his channel, my channel is Crystal Clear Truth. And no, it's not CC for 33. It's like when I was just barely starting to wake up. My name's Crystal, so
sure.
But I named it that, not thinking about CC, and then people try to come through and call me an agent or something, which I'm not.
Sure, some people are too paranoid.
From the bloodline, but I'm not a Mason or an agent whatsoever. But his channel is Jeff Overholt. And his very last, the most recent video he made, I'd like for you to watch it once you get done with this, once you have time.
Okay, Jeff Overholt.
Yes.
Okay, I will have to look that up. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Crystal.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, you have a good night. All right, take care. And I think I have some good news. Somebody just called in and it didn't hang up on them, so maybe the call board problem is resolved and it's a lot easier for me to take calls. Why don't you guys try phoning in now on 213-233-3998, which is the typical number. Let me take this Cincinnati call, but I think the call board might be working as of right now. Caller?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I got through.
You got through. And here, let me just interrupt real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Yes, you guys, the call board is working because it is filling up now. So if you do want to call in, I suggest you call in before the line gets long. 213-233-3998. Looks like it's working. So, yeah, people are successfully on. All right, friend. You got it.
I kind of hopped in the middle of the live stream here. I didn't know if there was kind of a thread that you had going here or if it's just open for whatever.
It's open like it is on most Wednesday nights, yeah?
Excellent. So, regards to the 118 whole deal, noticed the other day, looking at November 8th, turns out that on the Jewish calendar, that actually lines up with Cheshvan 10, which is 7 days before, on their calendar, 7 days before Cheshvan 17, which is when the rains begin in the Old Testament, the floods of Noah and everything. So basically, it's just kind of a general hunch. You could be looking at something coming up, maybe not on 11/8, but a week after, because Noah takes all the animals and everyone gets them into the ark, and they hunker down for a week, and then the shit hits the fan, essentially.
Right. Huh.
So that was something that came to mind. But there was one other thing that I'm really glad I got through to you, because I was wanting to point you in the direction of someone that I think you would really appreciate. His name is Sheil Asher. He's got a website called ahlcglobal.com. The Hebrew scholar, historian, knows better than anyone else I've ever heard of about the Hebrew history, culture, and language, and the history of how the Bible is put together. Who changed the text when and what was changed about it, and basically reveals a whole other side of the story at a very, very deep level that I haven't found anywhere else, that really ties a lot of strings together. That I think you would benefit greatly from checking out.
I'll look into that. I appreciate the reference.
All right.
All right. Thank you, friend. You have a good night.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to answer anymore on the backup phone because the call board is up and working. And this way we can take callers in order. And yeah, so person right now from Missouri calling in. I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer your call. We're going to the main phone line now that it's working. 213-233-3998. And first up is New York. How are you, New York?
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
One thing about the boat fire in California, the one word you didn't decode was diving.
Sure. I did skip that.
You see what it equals, right?
Well, what's it equal?
Diving equals 65 in English ordinal, full reduction 38, and reverse ordinal 97, reverse full reduction 34.
So it's got overlaps with death and murder. Very interesting.
And the boat.
And ocean. Fire. Ocean's 38 too, and they had us fixated on the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean that day. You got a boat fire in the Pacific. You got a hurricane in the Atlantic. They got us looking at water. So.
And they said it was 6 crew members and 33 passengers, and it said the fire started at between 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:30 in the morning.
Is that what they said?
That's another 33 right there.
I didn't even know that.
I thought they said it started at 3 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning.
Huh, perfect. So, yeah, great observation, man. There's always more.
And one more thing, one more topic. I would expect to get on quick, but the one more topic I want to talk about is damn, I forgot. Well, let me just say this out. Did you see that in the UK they had the biggest heroin bust? 148 million, 148 billion, a million, something like that in the UK.
I didn't know.
I know the number was 148.
Fraternal is 148. Fraternal.
I knew that number, but I knew that number meant something when I saw that. So I always pay attention when they have these big drug busts because there's always numbers behind these drug busts. You notice that?
Right. Yeah, I do. Indeed.
All right. I have some more thoughts, but I forgot what I wanted to say. So you can go to the next caller, Zach.
All right. Great points as always, friend. You have a good night.
All right.
All right. Take care. Again, for all the people who can continue to call in on the 509 number, the call board is up and working. So please call 213-233-3998. That way we can go to callers in order. The most fair way to do it. Let's go out to Maryland. How are you, Maryland? Or hold on, I don't think that worked. Let's try that again.
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Perfect. Hey, doing well, man. Thanks for calling.
So I got a little bit of a theory that I thought of. So you know all these mass shootings going on in the country, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you remember a couple of years back in Nevada? Remember on that abandoned Behrendt airfield that they had out there with thousands and thousands of caskets that would fit multiple adult bodies in them?
Right.
Right. So I was thinking, with all these shootings and killings going on in all these different countries, or different states, you would think that would declare martial law, and then martial law means lethal force on American citizens, correct?
Correct.
If anything goes above what they're saying. So I was just kind of putting together, like, don't you think that those caskets could be used something for, like, such as a Revolutionary War that we could see again, since we have this huge divide going on in this country?
They could. And those are things I've been wondering about for getting close to a decade now, because that story is about 10 years old, all those caskets being found, back in the bushes.
Yeah. Well, who knows how long they sat there, correct?
Correct. That's true, too.
I don't know how to put the numbers with it. I want to learn how to do that. I don't know if you could maybe piece things together with it because of all these shootings and the dates of these shootings, such as the one that just happened in Texas again this past weekend. Where was the last one? It was at a football game, a high school football game. 7 people were killed. And we had El Paso.
Right.
I don't know. Little things that pop into my head. I just figured that'd be a good way to piece things together with that story there a couple years back.
Sure. Again, I just always think of the Georgia Guidestones, which that first rule, limit the Earth's population to 500 million. So, and those were placed there March 22nd, 322, once upon a time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is the agenda. Those were placed there March 22nd, 1980.
Yeah, population control. That's the big thing I was talking about, is basically it's just going to lead towards population control.
Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling that if they ever have a cataclysmic date, it'll probably be synced up with the posting of those Georgia Guidestones. So Georgia equals 44. The 44-year anniversary will be March 22nd, 2024. So.
Right. I was also another thing that just popped in my head, like I wanted to say before, with the shooting that just happened this past weekend, Labor Day weekend, with the 7 people that were killed at a high school football game. I don't know if you've noticed, if you're on social media, obviously.
Were 7 people killed at a high school football game, or were 7 people reported shot?
7 people. I thought it was 7 people killed.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look at that story. Was that out of Alabama? Mobile, Alabama?
You know how the internet works. What was that?
Was it Mobile, Alabama where it happened?
Yes.
I think they were shot, not killed, reportedly.
You want to know the crazy thing is I heard about that from somebody else. It was not like a headline news thing, but as soon as I don't even want to say it just because of racism, like the racism problem going on. I'm not racist, but how was that not a headline? That wasn't a big headline going on.
Well, it was the headline the morning before it got washed out by the Odessa, Texas shooting. So,
see, okay. See, there's one thing after the other just to keep us distracted from what's the real big thing coming. Because martial law, like I said before, it's going to happen. They want to take the guns, this and that. Something's going to happen.
Yeah, you're right. We're not going in a good direction.
I figured that would be a good thing to look into.
Well, that's why I've been speaking out here for 6 years straight. So, I mean, that's the thing. The time is now. We don't know what the day's going to be. The time. All right. I'm going to move on to the next caller. I do appreciate it, friend. Thank you for calling in. But again, that's why I'm here speaking out 6 days a week. We're moving in a bad direction. It's been clear ever since September 11th. The time is now to speak out and do something. And not enough people see that. And this poor person from Winter Haven, Florida, just keeps calling back to back to back to back. Somehow they're not hearing my message to call into 213. And same with Ladue, Missouri. These 2 callers just keep calling in. I don't know what to do about it. I'm going to go back out to the call board. Costa Rica. Thanks for phoning in. How are you, Costa Rica?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up?
Hey, listen, I've been studying astrology for a couple of years now, and I came across something that's really interesting I want to share with you. So basically in astrology, everyone has a birth chart. So basically how that works is the minute that you're born, basically takes a screenshot of the placements of all the planets in the constellations. So when you say that people are born and bred to be, they really are, because a lot of these alignments, like for George Bush or whatever, you could just tell that he has certain placements that come out in his personality. But the main point that I wanted to make tonight was a specific aspect, and it's Jupiter conjunct Saturn. So this is a very interesting aspect because I had been listening to your show for quite some time, some years, and I never called in, but I came across this aspect. And I thought, you're always talking about how you want to incorporate more astrology because obviously what you've decoded is like a smoking gun. But I think the astrological side could really help it. And I know Rambo's been doing some good work on it. But so I'll get to the point. Jupiter conjunct Saturn it's a transit that happens every 20 years. So I started looking back. I actually saw that someone had this on their birth chart. So I started looking into it, and you're not going to believe what I found. Basically, they say that, long story short, when you have this transit, if it's in an inauguration year or an election year of the presidency, basically it foretells assassination. So I went back and I looked into it. So 1840, William Henry Harrison was the president, and he died in office of pneumonia. So this was 1840. That was
he died on April 4th. He died on April 4th, 4-4, 1 month into his term, shortest term president. Mm-hmm.
You got it, exactly. So I kept going. So I said, okay, when was the next Jupiter conjunct Saturn transit? 1860. Who was the president? Abraham Lincoln. We all know he got assassinated.
And Abraham equals 44, just like how William Henry Harrison died on 4-4, and kill and shooting are both 44. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Same thing I saw. And I was like, I know Zach's going to get this because you can't just tell this to anyone, but I knew you would see the numbers. And clearly they're using the astrology with the Gematria on this. So I kept going. So 1880, James Garfield, the next Saturn conjunct, the next Jupiter conjunct Saturn transit, he was assassinated.
And Garfield equals 44.
Boom. Yeah. Exactly. So I kept going. I'm losing my mind when I'm seeing this. Because like I said, I listen to you all the time. I study astrology. I study law. And then, of course, some numerology as well. So you're by far the dopest. Hey,
friend. Let me just pause for a minute. This is awesome. This is really helpful. But I just have to pick up the phone for this person and help them out. Person calling in right now, please call the 213 number because the call board's up. So call 213 and please get in line so you don't have to keep calling over on this number. Thank you. All right, sorry about that, but they just kept calling and it was annoying me. So okay. All right, you're back on, friend.
Okay, yeah, no problem. All right, so get this. So I'm studying all these. I'm studying astrology. I'm studying some law. Ian McKinley, and sure enough, he was assassinated September 14th, 1901. So at this point, I'm like, God, like this shit is crazy. Like, so I keep going. I'm like, no way. So 1920, the next one, because the transit, I should have mentioned this, the transit happens every approximately 19 years. So it just so happens that it's syncing up with either the inauguration year or the election year. So basically, I go to 1920, the next time that this transit happened. Warren Harding, August 2nd, has a heart attack in office and dies. So that was 1923. So that was 3 years into his term. So of course we're gonna move to 1940. This shit is like clockwork. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to cuss on this. This is like clockwork. So Franklin Roosevelt, sure enough, 1940, he had the cerebral hemorrhage on April 12th, 1945.
In Georgia.
So that was maybe on his way out or his second term. I'm not sure.
He was on his way out. Georgia's 44 where he died too for another 44. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Okay. Yeah. I'm glad you're seeing all the 44s because as soon as, I don't want to take too much time, but as soon as I'm almost finished, but I want to mention something about 44 when I'm done. So of course we go the next transit, John Kennedy. No, there's nothing that needs to be said about that.
44th term president. He was the 44th term president. That needs to be said. All right.
Exactly. All right. So 80, they got Ronald Reagan. He didn't die, but he was shot March 30th, 1981. He was shot, but he survived. So maybe they were trying to assassinate him. I don't know. But he made it through, but that was technically an assassination attempt. And then the last transit was 2000. And it was, and I was like, okay, well, I know George Bush, nothing happened to him, but I did some research. On May 10th, 2005, someone threw a live hand grenade, but it just didn't detonate. And that was on May 10th, 2005. So maybe another, I don't know, who knows, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, what do you, have you ever heard of that? Any of those?
I didn't know about any of that, but that answers a lot of questions. And I know that the astrology is the huge missing piece of this, so that makes a lot of sense. And every 20 years is interesting because death connects to the word 20, or the word death connects to the number 20. Well, what was the thing you wanted to say about 44?
So the way I wanted to share my story on how I figured out the 44, because I had noticed the numbers too before I found your work. So there was this really famous I don't even know, like spiritual guy. His name was Wayne Dyer. Okay. And he was like an Eckhart Tolle, motivational dude. But I know, like, throughout history, some people are good and some people are bad, like in the sense that some people sell out. But I don't think this guy sold out because he had exposed Tony Robbins. And he exposed Tony Robbins. He said, you know, I heard some things about you. They were doing a live interview, and like Tony Robbins' face just went blank. So obviously Tony Robbins is probably working for the occult, probably sold out early on. But he kind of called him out. So Wayne Dyer, super healthy guy, dies in his sleep. I'm sure by the numbers, I haven't looked into it, but dies in his sleep. And then this is what gave it away. Tony Robbins goes on Twitter and he writes this. He writes like a couple sentences on Twitter expressing his condolences, and everything is words. So just like the Murder by Numbers song or title, he uses two numbers. So instead of writing FOR, he uses it twice on the Twitter post, and he uses the number 4. So there's 2 4s in the couple sentences. I forget exactly what he said, but I knew right there, because no one uses like numbers. Like that's kind of like a slang way of like talking like abbreviations, but no one's going to do that on someone's death. So I knew he was coding the 44, and that's when I really knew about the 44. And then when I found your work, I was like, yeah, for sure.
Very interesting. Yeah, you found something huge here, and it's a reminder that there's so many more dots to connect with this research. Once we understand the astrology piece, as well as we understand the letters and numbers patterns, we'll really get to narrowing down their agenda before it happens. So awesome work, friend. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
One more point. I know I've been taking super long. The final point for this is that December 21st, 2020, it's going to be the same transit again. And so I'm thinking, obviously November 3rd is going to be the election. So Trump wins again, boom, almost guaranteed assassination.
Or, well, it wouldn't even have to be an assassination. I mean, he's getting old. He's kind of fat. I wouldn't be surprised if he died in office if he won again. So could be.
Yeah, either way. If it's going by, the last 100 years or so, the stars don't lie.
Yeah, you found something huge. Very good work. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, take care.
All right, see ya.
All right, we got 10 seconds till the commercial break. When we come back, we'll go into your calls. Remember when Trump was on the campaign trail, they compared him to the candidate that was shot by, oh God, I'm going to think about it over the commercial break. I'll get that over the commercial break. We'll be right back in just a moment. The music should be kicking in any second. Short break, and then we got an hour and a half of show left. So I don't hear the music. I should, but I guess we'll just do the awkward silence here for 10 seconds. The commercial should kick in. And for the person calling in, 213, call that number. The call board's back up. All right, we'll be right back.
It's amazing how people have been raving about IOLife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with IOLife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with IOLife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iolife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's iolife.com, AYA life.com.
Hey folks, guess what the #1 phrase that Life Change Tea receives by
Hey,
email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? With a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
Hey, can you call the 213 number? The call board's back up.
We exist in the security and
Yeah, 213-233-3998.
lights and manicured lawns give us peace of mind. That our
233.
words contain, and we are its master.
Here, I'll go slower. 213 233 39 3998.
Waking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Some of us have stumbled
Yeah,
into
welcome.
these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brent Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
Into the paranormal portal with you. No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour and a half left. I'm really happy what that last caller did. I think that was huge, how he connected the gaps in the presidential deaths and how they all synced with what is referred to as Jupiter conjuncting Saturn. And again, for years when I looked at this, I said, why do these patterns happen so persistently by the same numbers, but then they go in gaps? And this is the type of stuff that has to be the astrological functions that are taking place. Also, before we went to the break, I said I wanted to figure out the presidential candidate who had the assassination attempt on his life while running for president in 1972. That was 44 years before Trump ran for president, and Trump was compared to this man, George Wallace. George Wallace. They said Trump was the most racist and divisive candidate on the campaign trail since George Wallace, who had Arthur Bremer take an attempt on his life. And if you were following me back then, we talked about how during that time there was the taxi driver, and oh goodness, what town was it in Michigan? Supposedly the Uber driver who was doing Uber rides and also shooting people at random. I cannot remember what town in Michigan that was. But it was the same town where that mass shooting story was going on, was the same town that built checker cabs. And checker cab is used in the film Taxi Driver, where Robert De Niro is the character. If you look into the creation of the movie Taxi Driver, Robert De Niro's character, who's thinking about doing an assassination during an election year while people are on the campaign trail, his character is supposedly based on Arthur Bremer. So Arthur Bremer's who shot George Wallace, and Robert De Niro was the actor who played in Taxi Driver. And if you remember, Robert De Niro made, remarks about what he thought about Trump. And he said, Trump's even crazier than his character in Taxi Driver. And I was really zeroing in on all that. And I've been documenting it ever since. And also around that same time, Hinckley, who's the man who supposedly tried to kill Reagan. And of course, Trump had the same campaign slogan as Reagan, or he kind of stole it, modified it into his own. But Hinckley was supposedly released from the insane asylum around the same time that Trump was becoming the president-elect. And I was documenting all these stories, and I was saying, what is going on here? Are they foreshadowing that Trump will be assassinated, Trump will die? And perhaps what this caller has just zeroed in on, that the cycle will happen right after the 2020 election. Maybe Trump will get a second term, and maybe he won't make it through his second term. And of course, a number of things could happen there. Just like the caller pointed out, there were assassinations. There were also deaths from supposedly health failures. And consider Donald Trump He was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days old when he took office. So that means he'll be 74 years old, 7 months, and 7 days, should he get a second term. So I know this last caller just nailed something huge on the head, and he's getting inspired by Rambo's work. So that's the synergy. And that's why I keep saying there has to be a Gematria News Network where people who are dedicated to this research come and, meet in an office building, have conversations together. If we get other people there with different expertises, if we get an astrology expert there. I don't know what happened to my astrology friend that I was doing shows with. I haven't heard from him in forever. I don't know what happened there. I hope he's all right. But yeah, if we just get the synergy of minds, I know we can take this a lot further, and that is the goal. And even if we can't ever get the funds to build the Gematria News Network, this website I'm trying to build right now to create the network of people, I think maybe even doing it like that, it could come about in another way. So, notice it's strange. We've been talking about September 13th tonight, and I'm noticing that George Wallace ended up dying on September 13th in history. Go figure. So, that said, let's go back out to the callers. And I believe it's Corpus Christi, Texas that's up next. Corpus Christi.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi. This is the first time I call.
Yeah. Thanks for calling.
And, well, I bought your book, and I'm kind of new to all this, I'm still trying to get the hang of it. I found it very interesting. Well, my questions basically are more related to sports, because that's how I got to know you and your work.
Right.
For example, when you do predictions, you see the numerology of the team, where they're gonna play, and who they're going against.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out how you determine,
who's gonna win, who's gonna lose.
For example,
So, for example, okay, if you go and look at the New York Mets and Washington Nationals series that's taking place in baseball right now, you'll notice that 2 days ago, the pitcher Noah Syndergaard got the win and improved to 10-7 on the season. 10 wins, 7 losses. And if you look today, the Mets beat the Nationals again, and Zach Wheeler improved to 10 wins, 7 losses. And that's a very familiar pattern that we've been documenting all year in Washington Nationals games, because Washington Nationals equals 107. So you see how 2 Mets pitchers, while facing the Nationals, become 10-7? Those are the kind of patterns we pick up. The entire world of sports is this way. So it's about using this code, understanding the patterns, and figuring out what numbers hit with certain teams, game after game, week after week, season after season. And the thing is, it's not a perfect science. It's not a perfect science. And here, I'm going to put something out there for people to watch this Thursday night football. I'm just going to put it out there, and I'm going to explain how you can find a really good pattern, and sometimes it doesn't come through. So this Thursday night football, something amazing can happen if the Bears win. Matt Nagy, the coach, the game will be 134 days after his birthday. He's the coach of the Bears, right? It'll be 134 days after his birthday. Now, that's a special number. The National Football League equals 134. Vesica Piscis sums to 134. The shape of the football in sacred geometry is 134. If Matt Nagy beats the Packers, his coaching record in the regular season will become 13 wins, 4 losses, 134 days after his birthday. Now, that's not all. Vesica Piscis, with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, sums to 53. Last year, I documented many rituals with 134 and 53. 134, 53. And if the Bears win on Thursday Night Football, which will be a date with 53 numerology, they'll get their 53rd win in the regular season versus the Packers all time. 53rd win. Now, 53 is the 16th prime number. Last year, we called the Super Bowl right before the season began. Patriots versus Los Angeles. Patriots equals 53. Los Angeles equals 53. Perfect teams to meet in Super Bowl 53. 53 is the 16th prime. You have 16 points scored. If the Bears quarterback gets the win, he'll get his 16th career win 16 days after his birthday on Thursday Night Football. So you see how these pieces to come together? 134, 53, 16. It's a very strong riddle. More often than not, very strong riddles come through when you understand this language, but sometimes they don't. But the point is, when you're a gambler, if you're betting on games, the point is to win more than you lose. And most gamblers do not do that. That's why casinos are billion-dollar empires, because they just figure out ways to screw over the gambler. But the thing is, you use this knowledge, you're going to win a lot more often than not. But sometimes you'll see a riddle like the Bears riddle. And I'm not saying the Bears aren't going to win this week, but I'm just giving you something that I'm looking at. And if the Bears don't win, there are a few things that line up for Aaron Rodgers as well. Because oftentimes when you look at these riddles, there's things that go on both sides. So you have to determine what is the best riddle, what's the most consistent pattern. But that's how you do it.
For example, the first time, how I got into figure all this out was, well, I'm not from the States. I've been living here for 5 years. And I got into football, because I live in Texas, Texas is huge on football.
Sure.
So I noticed that, every decade there's been a team that win 3 Super Bowls.
Uh-huh.
Like the Steelers in the 70s, the 49ers in the 80s, the Cowboys in the 90s, the Patriots, in the 2000. And this decade, I was like, well, there's only one team that can do that. And that's why, I started searching if the Patriots will be the ones winning it, and that's how I got, get to know you and your work.
Sure. Yep. Numerological rituals. So, yep.
The other question I had before finish, do you use the same knowledge with soccer, like world soccer? It's a very, it's the most popular sport in the world.
Sure.
And I wonder if they apply the same concepts to
They do. They absolutely do. And they use English. That's why English is the language of the world. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I really appreciate the knowledge of your book. I'm still reading it, but it's been an eye-opening.
Well,
did you ever thought, to make some of your videos maybe in Spanish to try to reach more people, or?
Well, I need someone like you who can translate. And, that's a future thing. Again, I'm trying to build a movement here so we can put together a real Gematria News Network, and having some Spanish-speaking people dedicated to the cause, that would be perfect to help further the work. So, yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. You take care, friend. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, I love to hear people who speak English as a second language even investing in the work. That's awesome. Let's go out to Providence, Rhode Island. And you know what, you guys, there's a ton of people on hold. So if you can please just hit me with one great point, one great question so we can keep it moving and get everybody through, that would be great as well. Let's go out to Providence. Try that one more time. There we go. Providence? Maybe Providence is just...
Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect. There we go. Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
So I guess, yeah, just quick. I started doing some of the codes of game ones, but something about the Chargers and potentially making the Super Bowl. So Mike Shanahan, who's Kyle Shanahan's dad, who's their coach, he went to Eastern Illinois.
He's the 49ers coach.
He's
the 49ers coach. Anthony Lynn's the coach of the Chargers.
Yeah, I know. But Mike Shanahan, so his first game ever, when he coached the Raiders, he was coaching the Raiders, and they beat the Chargers in a game. He beat the Chargers in his first game. And then his last win ever, he beat the Chargers, and when he was coaching the Redskins, and the last game summed to 54 points. And then, so Shanahan, he was the 49ers offensive coordinator in '94 when they beat the Chargers in Super Bowl 29. I just lost my spot. Where was I going with this? And I lost it. Oh, and so Alex Spanos, he was the Chargers owner. He bought the team in 1984. That was the same season the Niners beat the Dolphins in a Super Bowl 19, and that game sums to 54 points. The Chargers, the last time they played in Miami was on Jimmy Garoppolo's birthday. They're playing them this year.
Okay.
And the Chargers, their quarterback, Stan Humphries, when they made Super Bowl 29, he was 29 years old, 290 days, and he's currently 54 years old now.
Huh. Very interesting.
And the Chargers opened the season. The Chargers opened the season against the Colts, and Luck just retired at 29. And there's a couple of things like that connected Luck back to it. Like the Super Bowl 19 was played at Stanford Stadium, and then Luck, he went to Stanford. I got a couple things on it.
Yeah, those are good observations.
But look up Mike Shanahan. His first and last win ever were against the Chargers, and if you add up his points, so in his last game it totaled 54 points, but if you add up what his team scored in both games, that also comes to 54.
I'll look into that.
And so maybe, yeah.
Yeah, great observations. San Diego Chargers equals 100th NFL season. So, yeah, they're a team with an interesting narrative. Great work, friend. Appreciate it.
And so Anthony Lynn equals 54. Dean Spanos equals 54. Yeah.
Yeah. Great eyes, friend. Keep up the good work. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, take care. Yeah, that's how it is. Exactly what he's saying. It's the entire NFL that's what people don't understand about the sports leagues. It's like a book, and it's like chapter after chapter, and each chapter builds on the chapter that came before it. Professional sports are scripted theater. That's why they're always saying you couldn't have scripted it any better. It's not a joke. Let's go out to Phoenix, Arizona.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, thanks for calling.
How you doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about. I've talked to you a couple times. Called him a couple times. I called him about Grandmama the other night, actually.
That was a great one.
That was me.
Yeah.
But we have similar backgrounds. I noticed you talked about how you worked in mortgages. And stuff like that. And you feel bad about. I actually did something a little bit worse. I worked in loan modifications.
Oh, so sure.
It was right after the mortgage crisis. Yeah. So I did sales. So, I mean, I did help out a lot of people, but I have a feeling more people were misled, whatever. But something I learned while I worked there is called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Have you heard of this before?
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
It's basically hypnosis.
Sure.
And I've noticed, I've noticed that now hypnosis isn't as much of a thing. Like they used to do it at schools a lot, and they'd hypnotize you at school in front of everybody. Now I told my nephew about it. He's like, "What's that?" I don't know what that is. And it was more of a known thing. It was more on TV and stuff. And so when I worked out there, we used to listen to seminars after work. That's why I learned about it. And you'd have to pay hundreds of dollars for these. You know what I mean? I looked it up. You can't. Universities don't have it. So it's something that's it's more hidden. It's kind of like a cult. I think it was used with the occult. I think that's where it comes from. I think people hundreds of years ago did it, and it was like a secret thing. But basically, it's what's used to advertise to you. I think it's used in conjunction with Gematria. You know what I mean? That's what TV does. It goes into your emotions, your subconscious, programs things that you don't know about, and that's essentially what hypnosis is.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
that's not talked about. And neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, is basically the science of it. It's big in sales. It's used a lot in sales. The best salespeople probably know about it. but they don't know they know about it. Because basically, you ask someone in the beginning, hey, you know, you don't say it directly, but you say, hey, what's the best thing in life to you? What is most important to you? What do you value most? Usually it's their kids, if they have kids. A lot of times it's vacation, but whatever you're selling, you relate it to what they said. And then they're like, oh, well, when they're saying no, you're like, well, you said it's for your kids, you know, you told me. And if it's something, if you can really hit the thing that they really like, and you paint a picture about it, you say, hey, you know, think about if they say their favorite thing, you know, they want a car, you know, 2000 brand new, you know, Nissan Altima. Say, hey, think about driving down, you know, the freeway 100 miles an hour in your brand new black Nissan Altima with your air conditioning on, smells brand new, you know, paint a picture for them. And relate that to what they want the most. And that's what they do on social media now. It's what they do on TV. And this is the science of it, you know. And I think more people should, you know, look into it for sure.
Sure, I agree. Neuro-linguistic programming. All right, great point. Great observation. Appreciate it, friend. You have a good night. All right, take care. Thank you. Yeah. A lot of subconscious programming. Let's go out to Georgia. Georgia, hopefully you're out of the way of the storm.
Yeah, a lot of subconscious programming. Let's go out to Georgia.
Georgia, can you mute the video, please? You're on. All right, maybe you're just... Yeah, you're on.
Hey,
thanks
for everything you do, man. I'll keep it quick.
You got it, friend. I'm listening. You're welcome.
First observation, man. You know, I do a little bit of gaming on Xbox and stuff like that, and it's amazing how many games have the number 9 coded into them. And I guess that's what kind of led me to you, was the number 9, and kind of opened the world of Gematria to me, and the connection between Saturn worship and all these people worshiping Saturn and a lot of the Saturn rituals. But my question, I guess, is, and I'm going to leave it to you, man, to answer it, is have you heard anything about cicada? And my theory is that was kind of a recruitment, if you will, for maybe some of these people to maybe be involved on the darker side of it.
Give me more about cicada. I know it's buzzing in my mind, but I forget what the gist of this is. Cicada.
I want to say around the 2000 test came out where if you solved the test, you got the next clue, but the tests were definitely deep into numerology and esoteric knowledge and very obscure poetry. And it just, to me, felt like everything, like the very core of what the darkness of this whole thing is.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look into this. So I do appreciate the information. I know I've heard about this in the past, but it skips my mind at the moment. So I'll have to do some research.
Yes, and yeah, man, just, you know, even Xbox and just the correlation between like the name of that and what you know, the cube worship and things. But I just wondered if you, in closing, if you'd comment on maybe the video games aspect of that and the number 9, and if you had a theory on that. But all in all, I'm reading your book and headed over to Patreon soon. And thank you for everything you do.
Well, you're very welcome. 9's a very special number in numerology. 9's kind of like the glue. Any number multiplied by 9, any number, doesn't matter what the number is. Every single number multiplied by 9 takes on a numerology of 9. Any number that you add plus 9 to, it doesn't change its numerology. So, for example, like 2, if you add 9 to 2, it becomes 11. The numerology of 11 is 1 plus 1 is 2. So it just comes back to 2. It's true for any number. And do you know about the finger trick where you drop a finger and then, it's hard for me to do because I'm holding a mic, but do you know the finger trick with 9?
I do. I saw you do that not too long ago.
Okay. Yeah. So 9 is just a really special number. It represents completion. You know, you think about 9 months in the womb, you think about baseball and all the emphasis on 9. So 9 is a very significant number. I'm not real familiar with a lot of video games. So like, are you seeing 9 just in the title of video games, or where's the 9 fitting in?
They'll have serial numbers on the weapons or on the skins. It had to be like, you know, the skin would be like, you know, Attack or Solar Reaper 234, or, you know, it'll be a series of 10 to 15 numbers. And I mean, every time, just 9.
I see.
999 every time.
The numerology is breaking down to 9. I see. All right. Well, yeah, a very special number 9 is. So I imagine that has something to do with it. But great questions, and I'm going to look into that cicada thing. So I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you for everything you do, bro.
Yeah, welcome. Have a good night. Okay, our good friend from Arizona. How are you?
Hey, great, man. Awesome show as always.
Well, thank you.
Hey, in light of, all the stuff you've been covering with the hurricane and everything, somebody I worked with the other day was telling me that the very first tornado in Arizona officially was on August 27th, 1964. I saw your blog post the other day. I just, the August 27th is the 239th day of the year.
Right.
239 is the 52nd prime number, right?
Right.
So, when you're awake to this code, we know that this is what they've been doing for how long now. It just makes you really wonder how long they've been able to control weather. Knowing this code just becomes so undeniable that all this stuff is made by man. And even going back to 1964, they were probably just screwing around, supposing on that day a mother and a child was killed, but, they were probably screwing around with it because they've been, telling people since 1952 that they've admitted to it, world governments admitted to weather warfare. So it's just pretty amazing to know this codes act that you want to reveal, it all goes back to the same people and just undeniable, man.
Right. And hit me again. What was it about the August 27th, 1964 hurricane? I know what's up with August 27th, but what was it about that one?
This was a tornado. It was supposedly the only tornado. I don't know if they've had anything since then, but it was the first tornado in Arizona. I'm out here in Arizona, so I just thought that was, something I'd bring up since, we're talking about.
Hold on. The music started. We'll be right back. First tornado in Arizona. Sorry about that. We'll be right back, everybody. Commercial snuck up on me.
From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/sign-up and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
Advance warning, child separation anxiety. I love a CUSAC. A stark warning in advance of Hurricane Dorian to everyone in the storm's path. A large digital screen alongside a major highway running into Charleston, South Carolina reads, Hurricane Dorian, leave now.
Some people are heeding the call to evacuate. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper.
Do not try to ride it out.
But you are hard-pressed to find locals in coastal towns who are leaving. Take Robert, for example, whose parents have gone to stay in nearby Wilmington, but he's going to ride it out at their property.
Last year after Florence, we were out of power for 8 days, and that was pretty insane. This one's projected to come on through pretty fast. So
Bob Costantini, Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina.
The death toll from Dorian in the Bahamas is at least 20, with thousands of homes destroyed or damaged. Correspondent Patrick Altman is in Freeport.
There are areas where there's still water rescues taking place, where they're still underwater or the water is still deep there to go by car or go by the vehicles that everyday Bahamians have.
The United Nations said 70,000 people in the Bahamas need immediate humanitarian relief. Correspondent Jessica Snyder reports a Health and Human Services Inspector General report shows migrant children separated from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border last year experienced heightened feelings of anxiety and loss.
This was an in-depth investigation over the course of 2 months to really study how well equipped these facilities were during the height of the family separations last year and how equipped they were to deal with the mental health needs in particular of children. And the report's conclusion here is that they weren't adequately prepared or equipped.
Former White House counsel in the Obama administration, Greg Craig, was found not guilty of lying to the Justice Department about work he did for the government of Ukraine. Stocks ended the day higher, the Dow rising 237, the S&P up 32 points, the Nasdaq gained 103. I'm Barbara Cusack.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked one, obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
Condition orange. Lock. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. We got interrupted by the commercial break, but the caller from Arizona was pointing out that the first tornado in Arizona state history that was recorded happened on August 27th, 1964. You can look up this incident. It hit an Indian reservation, Native Americans. The date this happened was a date with 118 numerology. And the name of the reservation that got hit by this tornado was the Tohono O'odham Reservation, which equals 118, that number of death. And again, weather warfare, contrived tornadoes. This had happened before 1964. Weather warfare admitted to since 1952. And this happening on August 27th. Again, that's the 239th day of the year, the 52nd prime Earth equals 52, and seemingly it's about dominating the earth, this agenda. Don't forget NWO's 52, the cabal's 52, government's 52, authorities 52, hurricane equals 52, flood equals 52. In this case, it's a tornado, but on the perfect date. And just think about it, terrorizing the native people, you know, the people who've been there forever, never seen a tornado, all of a sudden just on the most perfect day, right on top of their head. So Tohono O'odham Reservation, 118, that number of death, destruction. And lo and behold, the first tornado in Arizona history on that location on a date with 118 numerology, on a date that's connected to weather warfare year after year. I also see that in that year, 1964, Hurricane Cleo smashed into Florida on that day. So there was a hurricane on that day as well. Let me go back out to the caller in Arizona. Great observation as always. And you're back on, friend.
Yeah, man, you hit all points on that. And that's what I was thinking too. They always go after the poor communities.
Right.
And I just know I've only been out here 17 years now, but I just know that's the poor, you know, part of, you know, Tucson, probably the poor South Tucson's the poorest because, you know, it's closer to Mexico too. So,
right.
But yeah, man, it's just sick, man. Just really, this knowledge is so powerful. It just proves beyond any shadow of a doubt how long they've been able to do the stuff, and that it's just ongoing. I mean, how often now when 52 shows up in these weather patterns, it's just like that's the day when you get the most destruction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So.
And then I had a question for you, man. So I know you brought this up before, and I can't find it. The Bruce Willis roast, you know, where was it? Who was it in that? Was it Gordon Levitt that said that if you were any more Jewish, you could control the weather?
Right.
I mean,
it might have been him. I can't,
dude. I want to show people that. I want to see their freaking eyeballs. I want to see if anything, you know, if there's a spark.
You know what? I have that on demand right now on my TV. I'll go back and watch it again and find the clip where they say that, and I'll just record a short video and upload it to my channel so everybody can see that. Yeah. In the Comedy Central's the roast. Yeah, Comedy Central's the roast of Bruce Willis. There's a joke made that if you were any more Jewish, you'd control the weather, and they all die of laughter. So.
Yeah, man, and I go on YouTube and I can get clips, but I'm like, nothing will let me watch the whole thing. You know, it's, you have to pay for it. You know, if you want to watch the whole thing. So, hey, that's all I had. But one thing I want to do to look at, if you want to wear before I get off of here, I'm looking for the gematria of it, man. I just had it on here. Where did I do it at? It was related to the Democratic debate. Oh, yeah, the big thing on CNN. Did you see this? It was climate crisis. And I guess they were getting all the Democrat candidates together to do a debate. I don't know if you covered any of that or not.
I missed it. So what came out of it?
Like the climate crisis, dude, it was just huge letters, you know, on CNN. I only saw like, you know, maybe 2 minutes of it. All I had to do was put climate crisis in and everything was right there.
Sure.
Tell me what English ordinal, though. The rest of them are just eye-popping. Climate crisis equals 59 in reduction to 11. We know that one. That's all connected to the presidency, just like in 59, too. And then 94, when you write out 94, it equals 147.
And right now, Hurricane Dorian equals 94. And today's September 4th. This was going on today, 9/4. Yeah. And
yeah, man, when you put it all together like that, it just shows you how well planned and scripted all this has to be and orchestrated to get everything like that every time to line up like that and all their stories.
Right, and 140 is important because Washington equals 140. Just like how we said the Huskies coach for sure would beat Eastern Washington this weekend to get his 140th win all time in the battle of the two Washington teams. Washington equals 140 and 59. Of course, Freemasonry is also 59. So you got your Washington numbers there for the Washington politicians. 211, the 47th prime, government authority, Democrat, Republican, all that 47. And this is going on today on September 4th, 9/4. Hurricane Dorian 94. Hurricane Dorian also sums to 247. Today's the 247th day of the year. You're getting your headlines about the first deaths caused by Dorian today. So it's a sick joke, man, and it is perfectly all planned.
59 to the 59th presidential election.
Right, exactly. Yep, right on.
So they just got it all in there, man, for us, every bit of it. Well, hey, man, that's all I had, man. It's just your work's unbelievable, dude, and you've just been working like a madman. We appreciate it, all of us do, because there's enough of us out there that want to make a difference with this, and something's got to be done differently. I mean, we're just losing too much.
Indeed.
We're taking too much now.
Indeed.
I'm sick of it. All right, brother.
All right, man.
Thanks as always.
Yeah, have a good night. Take care, friend. All right. Let's go out Arizona next. We got Arizona back-to-back. What's up, Arizona?
Hey, this is Josue Mendoza. How are you doing, Zach?
Doing well. Thanks for calling in, Jose.
Hey, 2 weeks ago, exactly on Wednesday, my brother was driving a VIP taxi here and got shot and killed here at Casino, Arizona.
I'm sorry to hear that, friend.
Okay, and his name is Hilario Mendoza, which added up to 150. And Homicide is 150. I just want to see if you have anything else that you can add to this.
Oh, okay, I have to think about. Okay, can you spell his name for me real quick?
Hilario.
Okay, and Mendoza, Mendoza.
Yes.
So I see something right away in his name. His name sums to 228, like death. That stands out in a big way to me. Plus what you just said about homicide. Do you know what day of the week 2 Wednesdays ago was? August. What day that was?
21st.
August 21st.
21st.
So it would have been just one day off, August 22nd, 228. What was he killed late in the evening, close to August 22nd?
Yeah, they said at first they said 11:01, and then now a new thing came out the other day. It said 11:08.
11:08. Well, we know what's up with 118. God. And did they say anything
And
about the person
another
who
thing-
shot him?
Yeah, he was Native American, but they can't give us a name. But the other thing is, my other brother got promoted to chief warrant officer here in Arizona on March 22nd.
Oh boy.
And his name is Hector Mendoza.
Oh boy. So here's the thing. August 21st can be written 21/8 like 218. Death in English extended gematria is 218, and death in Sumerian gematria is 228. And both of these numbers show up around death often. I was just talking about 228 today in one of the deaths in the news. And I'm talking about both of those. And just the other day, I was talking about Mary Tyler Moore dying 218, or the Mary Tyler Moore's co-star dying 218 days from Mary Tyler Moore. So this does look like a ritual, and I, based on what you just told me, I think you have an idea what's going on, and I'm really sorry that you're between this and this is your family, man. And I would say be careful, because calling into this radio show, and I understand you're going for the truth, but yeah, I just I fear for your safety, you calling in asking about this. So be careful, man. But I think you do know what happened, and I'm really sorry that this happened in your family. So
I appreciate all your hard work. I'm a Lyft driver here, and I talk to everybody about your work too.
Well, thank you. Hey, that makes at least two of us in the world who, while driving for a Lyft, we're sharing this knowledge. One more thing, friend, from your one family member's promotion on March 22nd to the death of your other family member was a span of 153 days, which is a special number for a lot of reasons, but that's the 17th triangular number, and kill equals 17 in the most pure cipher too. So very, very sorry to hear that happened.
I appreciate all your work, Zach. You have a good night.
All right. Be safe out there. Take care. And yeah, that's scary. And the man who's calling in right here, I mean, I don't like to say this, but I imagine if his name summed to 228, he might have been the brother that people read about in the papers. And it does seem to work that way, because you see when these suspicious deaths of family members, it's like the one who died is the one that had the fateful numbers in their name. His other family member got the promotion on March 22nd. Tennessee, you're on.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up, Bobby?
Hey, you had a color calling about great conjunctions, right?
Yes, he did. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's on the Wikipedia page for the great conjunctions, and it's right there. It's not hard to find.
Right.
I've been talking about the great conjunction. Ever since 8/18, they had the Cincinnati Masters, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson got married. I tied that into Taurus. Uranus moving into Taurus. And I've been talking to you about the great conjunction. It's going to be on 21/12. Interesting thing about that, he mentioned the 44. With the 21/12 is 2 times 11 times 2 is 44. But Ohio seems very important. I'm looking at this game coming up on Saturday between Cincinnati and Ohio. And something I uncovered looking into the Great Conjunction with the numbers 174 and 471, which if you spell them out, they both sum to 2112, which is the date of the Great Conjunction. And September 7th will be 471 days to the Great Conjunction. So that's another reason I think, that game's happening on that date. Like I said, very symbolic. The flag of Ohio, it features a equilateral triangle with two circles in the middle. That represents a Great Conjunction. It's an esoteric, they don't come out and tell you that. If you ever seen the movie The Dark Crystal, all over the film are triangles, equilateral triangles with circles in the middle. Again, that's the Great Conjunction, and they even talk about it in the film. And they also talk about another aspect of Great Conjunctions known as a trigon. And they last about anywhere from 160 to 240 years. And the thing about trigons is each Great Conjunction is in the same elemental sign. So until next year, we've been in Earth sign. So we were in, let's see, I had it written down, 2000 I believe was Taurus. And, it goes back through it. So it was like Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. Those are the three Earth signs. Studying those three Earth signs for about 200 years. But now we're going into air signs with next year's Great Conjunction, which will be in Aquarius, which is so important to the Uranus coding because Uranus rules Aquarius. And the thing about, I had some notes written about this game. I believe the coach is Ryan Day, sons of 174, Frank Laconis, Urban Meyer, 174, Francis Bacon. And then I've also been, with the 818 date, the Cincinnati head coach, his birthday is 818. Cincinnati also sums of 174. And let's see. The quarterback for Cincinnati, his birthday is 831. That was the other date I was talking to you about because 831 is 818 on the Julian calendar. So basically, just saying that the Cincinnati Ohio State game, very huge with the symbology in astrology. It's one you want to keep your eye on, in my opinion.
I will indeed.
As a matter of fact, I mentioned the 174 and 471. The movie that they just released another Dark Crystal series on Netflix on August 30th. And if you type it out, The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, it's 174 reverse ordinal and 174 reverse reduced and 471 reverse ordinal.
Huh.
I just talked about the 174, 471.
Right.
And see, the other one that's kind of ties into this game is that it's 321 ordinal, I believe. Or 312 ordinal. And that is Ryan Day's birthday. It's March 12th. And then it's also 123 reduced, which 830 leaves 123 days in the year. And the other thing I wanted to mention is about tomorrow's game with the Bears and the Packers. I did a little video, I don't know if it was back last year or earlier this year. I want to say Zenith the Alpha inspired it, about the Vesica Pisces. It has a unit area of 1.2284, which I think the 122 is kind of like Pope Francis, 84, Jesuit. But anyways, 84 I think was a special year because you had the Super Bowl. It was on 122/84. And I believe that was Super Bowl 18. And then you also had a whole series of games, it was a regular season day, week 14. It was December 2nd, 84. So you had another 12 through 84. So I think 1984 very special to Vesica Pisces. And the Green Bay Packers first matchup against the Bears, they lost. It was 9-7. And maybe something to look at with tomorrow's game. But I think you already got pegged. But yeah, man, that's all I got.
All right. Great observations as always. Thanks, Bobby. You have a good night, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's go out to Massachusetts.
Yo, Zach.
Yes.
I've been following for a minute. I've been fucking waiting for this moment.
Hey, just be careful. Just be careful because we're on Truth Frequency Radio, and you're not supposed to cuss on TFR. So just so you know.
My bad.
all
But
good.
you can hear me though.
Yes.
All right. The Klepa. I know you're hip to all numerology, but the Klepa, dude, the Klepa, the tree of death.
Right.
333, cordons on. Dude, it's going to open up everything, dude. I've been a fan for a minute, right? And one of the things you always said was 9. And you know Freeman Fly? That guy Freeman Fly?
Uh-huh.
You know, Freeman Fly and all that stuff. He always, that was one of the things he went on was 93 was like a big number. Stelima was how Flight 93, like Flight 93 on 9/11. Like, why 93? Like the number 93, right?
Right.
Like, why would they put so much focus on the number 93? And then, like, now, like, all of us, we know, like, 93 is like a Tesla number. Like, 9 and 3, like, we know the 369. And we know, like, all of this numerology of 3, 6, and 9, and 12, and all this shit, right? But it's like 9/11, right? And I remember, like, that was one of the things you said that started you off was, like, 9/11. Like 9/11 was one of the main things that like started all of us off was like, we realized 9/11, like there's something up with this numerology with 9/11. What is it with 9/11? And they skip because 10 is the number of God, right? Because in all of the Kabbalah, and your boy Rambo, shouts out Rambo, he always talks about the cult of Cybele. And that's why I went off in the chat, because Tracy Twyman, the lady who got killed, that was her thing with the cult of Cybele. She went off on the cult of Cybele. And that was the origin of Kabbalah, was the cult of Cybele, was these men masquerading as women. These men that were taking over the feminine arts, and they took over the feminine arts and they became the priests. They became the priests by usurping, they usurped the role of the priestess. You know, the scale on the compass, squaring the circle, Hermes Trismegistus. You look into Sacred Geometry Decoded, one of my favorite YouTube channels. All of you, every truth seeker, every fan of Zach, look up Sacred Geometry Decoded. One of the most corresponsive channels to all of Gematria. Sacred Geometry Decode. And yo, Zach, I've been following you for a minute. I've been trying to get into this live stream for so long, bro. Dude, Sacred Geometry Decoded. I'm sure you already know what this channel is, some dude from Australia.
Does he have an acronym at the beginning?
He breaks down everything.
It's gotta be
He
this.
breaks down all of the Euclid 47. You always talk about 47. Euclid's 47, right?
Right.
You always talk about Euclid's 47. All the Freemasonic stuff. The dude, Sacred Geometry Decoded. He breaks down everything, bro.
I'm gonna check it out. Sounds like a great resource.
I'm a little delayed, so I gotta wait for your response. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I appreciate your call. A lot of great information, helping us connect dots. It looks like his channel is called SGD, Sacred Geometry Decoded. So I'm going to check that out.
Yep. Dude, dude, get all your, like I'm saying, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not somebody that posts it. I've been following you for a minute. I'm just somebody that's been watching silently. I've been somebody that's been watching silently. I've been somebody that's been decoding. And dude, you're on point, dude. And like, you're a fucking on point with all this information. And you can correspond it with this SGD, this guy from Australia, SGD.
All right, friend. Awesome. Awesome call. I appreciate your enthusiasm. You're an engaging speaker. I'm definitely going to check out this channel, and I'm excited about it. So thank you so much. Got to keep it moving because there's still 1,000 people on hold.
But I've been following for a minute. I've been trying to get into this call for a while. Like, I'm just saying, like, yo, I appreciate it. I appreciate any airtime you give me. Like,
of course, man. Hey, call us back. Call us back. You were a great call. Just remember, try not to cuss next time because they might edit your call out of the TFR show, and I hope they don't do that. But it'll live here on the YouTube.
What number should I call? Because like I got some real information to share with you.
The 509 number.
Like I don't even want to share.
Call the 509-731-0567. That's my other number if you want to get a hold of me. That's my personal number.
Wait. Can you just repeat that one more time?
509-731-0567. All right, friend. Appreciate it, man. You have a good night.
Oh, thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Thank you for everything you've done, bro.
You're very welcome. Thanks for your call, man. You take care out there.
Thank you.
All right. Somebody's calling on the 509 number right now. Don't call it right now because I'm doing the show. So right now it's a different number. Appreciate the enthusiasm to call so quick, though. Let's go out to Illinois. Illinois, we got 30 seconds before the commercial break.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Real quick point. You're saying the immigrants come over and they're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. That's simply just false, man. There's what do you think? The millions of
hold on, caller. Just because the commercial about to start and you got a lot to say, I'm gonna take you after the break. It's about to start right now, but I'll let you air out your mind. So I'm hearing you, but we'll be right back after the commercial break. Sit tight. Music should kick in any second. There it is. All right, we'll be right back, everybody. Hello. Hey.
To get on the show to discuss this with you tonight, but I need the code that won't let me. I can't get in line to be able to talk to you.
Okay. So what do you want to get out there?
Well, I've been following for a long time with your work, okay, since 2014. I've been very silent, okay. I have my own thing going on in my life, you know, and these ritual murders. See, I 100% know that you're right about this.
Right.
Okay, and I have to decode something, and it's very hard for me to do, and I need help. I can't hardly do it myself. It's so tough on me.
Okay, so what is it that you want me to help with?
Well, I would have to get the spelling exactly right, but my mother passed a couple of weeks ago, and all the numbers that are coming up are freaking me out.
Okay, remember there is an organic side to this code. So, okay, tell me what information you want me to know. Realize, are you okay that this isn't a private phone call? People are hearing this right now on the radio show. Is this how you want to do this?
I don't care right now. It's okay.
Okay.
Maybe someone will get something out of this.
Okay.
My mother's name was Elsie Jane Kellums.
Okay. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. As soon as this shows, are you going to be up for another 30 minutes?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll call you back at the end of the show and we'll do this because it's going to take a minute. So I will call you back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Josh.
All right, you're welcome, man. Take care. Bye-bye. I don't know if he meant to call me Josh, but people have actually called me Josh my whole life. Anyway, my mom should have named me Josh. I wouldn't have to tell people my own name. But hold on, we're about to come back from the commercial, and I told that next caller we'd get to him right after the break. So here, I'm just going to put the commercials on for a second, and then we'll know when we're back.
Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death. This is Uncle Walt from the Ironworks. Josh, Corey, and I have chosen to look at life with no fear. No fear of the unknown. No fear of questions about the supposedly well-known. No fear of ridicule for thinking outside the familiar fool's lines. No fear of the boot and the neck of those refusing the party line. No fear of taking on those so convinced in their beliefs they would sooner drink the Kool-Aid than believe they've been fools made. In this world filled with me cattle think, can truth's protective layers be peeled back to show the tender, juicy pink? Are we all just grist for the mill? Souls sold against our will, or is that just how it feels? When you're filled to the brim, triviality so clear, filled and grim, break clear of the fear. Right here, Tuesdays and Fridays at 2 a.m. on TFR. Josh and I and you will hammer out the impurities of technology-driven groupthink, fold in a dash of logic, and punch it all with a bit of absurdity. The Ironworks, break free of the fear.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
All right, we're back. Truth Seeker. It's the final 30 minutes. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Caller had a point he wanted to debate me on, and we're going to go back to him right now. Okay, thanks for your patience. You got the floor.
Okay. Yeah, I just heard you earlier. You were saying immigrants, they come here and they do the jobs that Americans don't want to do. That's simply just false, because there's millions and millions of illegal immigrants, and there's not all of them are doing these jobs that Americans don't want to do. I mean, America was perfectly fine without these millions of illegal immigrants in Texas and California. America was thriving. Our GDP was way higher.
So here, let me just interrupt real quick. Let me just interrupt real quick. So look, I'm not saying that millions of immigrants being in the country is a good thing for America or anybody, but what I am saying is in the 90s, it was foretold that if NAFTA was passed, it would destroy Mexico's agricultural society where the majority of people worked. And if they passed this, we were going to destroy our neighbor, and they would be coming to the U.S. to look for work because Mexico's economy would be destroyed, which is exactly what happened. And NAFTA was passed out of corporate greed. So you have to look at the reality of this situation and why it is this way. And that's the point I was trying to make. You are correct to say that some of the jobs that illegal immigrants are taking, Americans would work. But I mean, a lot of the jobs that they do take are jobs that people would rather not have. No one wants to work and slaughter animals all day, which is a job that's predominantly done in the U.S. by illegal immigrants. And again, a lot of Americans, they also don't want to work in agriculture and you know, pick fruits and vegetables and plant. That's not their thing either. You know, in our society, we were raised to think that that's beneath us. That's some, you know, caveman type of job. So you are correct. But what I'm saying, there's also truth to as well. But continue.
Yeah, I hear your point about that. But my thing is, these corporations, they're paying these people like $5 an hour because they're trying to squeeze some money out of them. It's the lowest common denominator.
Right.
If the corporations, you saw the Coke and Coke brother, they're paying these people cheap money. They're trying to get cheap labor out of them. And if they're paying people minimum wage, what they're supposed to be paying them, they wouldn't be hiring these illegal immigrants. These illegal immigrants wouldn't be coming over. That doesn't matter to me. How much money they make, or if the corporations make more money. I think USA should have a white majority. I feel like it's getting destroyed that way. The drug overdoses, antidepressants, suicides.
Hold on. I want to go 1 second real quick. I think I just heard you say you think the country should have a white majority. Was that what I heard right?
Right.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's just think about this. Let's think about the people who were originally in this country. The people who, before the United States of America, were they white?
No, they're I think they're from Siberia.
Okay, so I mean, what's your reasoning for saying it should be predominantly white then?
Because it has a national identity is very important for a healthy nation.
Well, I don't disagree with that statement. I hear where you're coming from, and it is a statement that everyone should acknowledge. It's true that if you grow up in a country or a society and you're used to things being a certain way, for the sense of normalcy and understanding your environment and where you're raised, and understand we live in the New World Order. They want people all over the world. They want people mixed up. They want cultures. Cultural confusion is essentially what they want. So I do hear what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like the thing that you want, you're not going to get that. And you have to look at the reality of the world and who's doing what to us. And I mean, honestly, in 2019, to say that you want a white majority, you're just going to be looking for trouble going down that road. Because I mean, that ship has literally sailed. So
real quick, let me get this couple points in. The reason I say that is because you look at the people trying to force multiculturalism on these European countries, whether it be United States, France, Germany. It's a conceited effort. This is purposely done. This isn't just some on accident. This is purposely done. This is Ashkenazi Jews pushing their hatred against ethnic Europeans, Christian Europeans. This goes back to hundreds, thousands of years. Christians and Jews have been at each other's necks.
Well, hold on, just real quick.
This is what they're doing.
Just real quick, let's not forget that the Talmud puts everybody beneath the chosen one. So it's not just against white. It's not just against Christian. It's kind of like against everybody, which is why they are mixing up the world and through their media, creating all the. Because it's so easy to see what they did in the United States of America. They made everybody afraid of Islam. And then at the same time, they changed the laws to start funneling more Muslims into the United States of America than ever before. And it's like, look at this. Look at what they are literally doing. They're making the American people scared of Muslims while bringing them to the country in record number. And that is the mind F, if you will, that they do to the world. And Barack Hussein Obama and all of that was just all part of. So you're right. There is an agenda, but I'd encourage you to not say things like, I want a white majority, because I also realize it's not really about race. Because, I mean, anyone who's born in the United States of America is going to be born with this culture. So it's more like you just want people here that are the country, that understand the country, not people from all over the world.
Zach, race matters. The founding fathers made that very clear in the freaking Constitution. They said white people. They made it clear to say white. It's very important.
Well, and think about that, though.
It's very important.
Well, but
my second point before I get off the phone real quick. All these conspiracy theories, they talk about it like the Illuminati and this number and that number. We need to be talking about facts. There's facts that Jews are vastly overrepresented in media, in currency, the banking, Hollywood, every important category you can think of, Jews are vastly overrepresented, and they're abusing their power big time. Let's talk about that conspiracy instead of this these numbers and the Illuminati, NASA, did we go to the moon, blah blah blah. Let's talk about Jewish power, Jewish tribalism.
So hold on.
Very important.
So hold on. See, it to me, you kind of feel like no less news, because that's what he does. He pushes a pro-white thing and also exposes Zionism and the agenda that's going on in the world. But then he dismisses this work, which is the code that they work by every single day, and which gives proof of their agenda and how they operate. So honestly, I'm going to let you go right there. I think you kind of showed what you're about. There is elements of truth to what you're saying, but at the same time, you're pushing ignorance and you're saying, well, that's what the white founding fathers wanted. Yeah, well, and kind of you're the example of why there is, a lot of animosity towards white people. The white founding fathers thought it was okay to genocide the natives and, make slaves out of all sorts of other people. So I don't think that was a great idea. And it was more than just Jews who passed NAFTA. There was a lot of white, fat, pale Republicans who mostly pushed that legislation through. So just to remind people, it's not all the small hats. It is It's more than just them. So that's what that guy reminded me of. No Less News, and a lot of what I see in the truth community. So many of the people that do speak out about the Zionist problem, if you will, they also push that very pro-white thing, like No Less News. Let's go out to Austin, Texas.
Hello.
Hello.
You hear me?
I hear you.
Awesome. So I agree with what you just said about that. There's been some crazy synchronicities or whatever you want to call them tonight, just while I've been waiting on the phone. But I wanted to call. So when you brought up the NFL thing being on August 11th being like the #1 day or the original day. So I just happened to like get into the whole Paradise thing and like the flag, and Bill Clinton's brother lives there. The flag that they like created like looks like I don't know, the whole thing just looks sketchy. But so I'm flipping through the other day on my news thing, and I don't even really ever look at mainstream news, and it catches my eye that Paradise had their first football game. And it's all over. You can Google this right now, pull up the article. It's crazy, man. It's like, so they say there were 26,000 people there, and there were they lost 90% of it. One of the first things that caught my eye in this article is that they mention a law enforcement agency and a guy named Brian White, but he doesn't want to be named. So it's obviously like an NSA type deal. And, it equals 118 or whatever. So it's the inverse of that is 811. But what's crazy is there's one college there, right? Butte College. Aaron Rodgers played at Butte College. And I know Aaron Rodgers' brother, and, there's kind of a rumor that he's a prick. His brother won, like, The Bachelor or whatever a while back, and so sure enough, about a month ago, I started hearing about, the first Super Bowl ever was Green Bay, Kansas City, right?
Right.
And so Bart Starr wore number 12 and all that stuff, right?
Right.
And I didn't even want to, like, give this away. You and I can talk about this for a while. It's crazy. So Aaron Rodgers is giving, signing helmets supposedly, and just when you flip to this article, it's like you almost don't even know if it's real. All the numbers, like there were only 22 players, like all this stuff. The kids' last names are Moon and Blood, and like it's very bizarre. Well, I wanted to draft Aaron Jones. I hear a lot about this Aaron Jones cat that's running back for Green Bay, and I really like him and David Montgomery. So I do a little research for fantasy football and start looking a little more into him. Would you believe that Aaron Jones went to UTEP? So UTEP and Butte College both equal 62. Would you believe that Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers, and you brought up Aaron Boone in this call, have the same birthday, December 2nd?
Huh.
Guy that was talking earlier, talking about 333. You do realize that the Super Bowl this year is on 2/2/20, right? So the 33rd day of the year with 333 days remaining. From December 2nd, the 122 number again, is 62 days. So UTEP, but not only did Aaron Jones go to UTEP, they say he grew up there, and where he went to high school is, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's right next to Cielo Vista Mall. The UTEP shooting, and then so you got the 3-8 stuff there, but then and how many people got number 22? This is where it's crazy. Aaron Jones and Walter Camp cross over on all four of the ciphers, and Aaron Jones wears number 33. Somebody mentioned the book 1984 earlier. I know you know the quote, but I was blown away. If you look at gambling, the gambling in sports has gone up so much, and they expect by 2023 for 32 states to have passed it, right? So, like, the revenue is like 4x. Just to give you an idea, 4 years ago, the top 50 teams, the cheapest one was like the Saints, somewhere around in the top 50 is around $700 million. Now there's not a team that's cheaper than $1.5 billion, right? What's interesting about the Packers, though, man, is they're the only ones that are still owned by shareholders. But Roger Goodell has tweeted as saying that the one thing that can hurt integrity is gambling, right? And they are going to get a piece of that, like eventually. They just talked about it yesterday, getting 1.5%. And so, you open my eyes to all this stuff. I've been a big sports fan, but I grew up in San Antonio. Greg Popovich wouldn't have traded Kawhi Leonard for DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
That's retarded.
Right.
One of the things I learned, and I could talk about this forever, but the San Antonio has there's only 2 other NSA buildings, and this is what I want to just wrap up. I've been wanting to get your thoughts on this forever, and it just came up yesterday. So it's 111 number, right? So that Ingersoll Lockwood, remember that bullshit book? That book that everyone was saying, oh, you know, like there's a time traveler and all this stuff with Trump and Tesla and all that nonsense.
Right.
Well, there's a book called The Last President, right?
Uh-huh.
The Last President was a real book. It was a real book. What's crazy is that it was a real book written about William Jennings Bryan. And what's interesting is that it's just total fluke, man. George Sutton, the guy that researched Skull and Bones, I'm listening to one of his boring interviews, like not boring, but Monday interviews at night, and each Skull and Bones class had a number that identified them, correct? They each had one, and there's only one that anybody's ever given out. And George Sutton happened to know that William Averell Harriman's class number was 111, right? So also in the William Cooper stuff, he talks about how the Knights Templar, you know, they rest their like legs on dogs up on their, it's like a symbol of something that you look it up on their, they're always resting their feet on dogs, right? So in that Baron Trump stuff, there was this wonderful dog Folger, okay? So his wonderful dog Folger equals 322. Jeffrey Epstein equals 322, obviously the Skull and Bones stuff. But this 111, somebody brought up Sir Francis Bacon. And I found this 21-page article yesterday, and I pull it up on your cipher sometimes and try to look at them. But, you know, you mentioned the Mariners, okay? So Shakespeare, when you mentioned that, I was saying that Tempest, there's something about Tempest, like it's an NSA name and it's something else, but literally Mariners is like the first, I mean, that's what Tempest is about. And that's like, supposedly there's just cryptography all in that stuff, right? But the point is that in one of the, Bacon has like 4 major like signatures, but one of them is 111. Are you aware that Hillary Rodham Clinton, George, the Foster guy, the attorney that was the friend of hers that killed himself when he was out there, and Kenneth Winston Starr, and William Clinton, who, as you pointed out, is William Blythe III, we got both figures, they all equal 111.
Just like New York, yeah. Big New York number where the Clintons had their powerful dynasty. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're doing great work, friend.
It's just like,
yeah.
Yeah, dude. So anyway, so Ingersoll is 111. Ralph Lockwood, there's all this stuff in there. And I don't know, but William Jennings Bryan was a real president, a real book. And I'll just shut up with this. The first story to break that, it came out on 8chan, but you can look it up. There's a Newsweek article. Newsweek equals 111. That's the paper that Harriman owned, right? And Harriman was the Russian ambassador when George Bush was the CIA thing, when all the JFK stuff happened. I'm going to end with this with the Green Bay Packers. Yesterday, so they're rookie this year. Darnell Savage Jr. They cut the guy that had number 21, so he changed his number 26 to 21 and just got it. Savage 21, the rapper, had some like Jewish name, but so you got Darnell Savage Jr. You can bet him right now, defensive rookie of the year, 33-1. Great chance, but Savage Jr. You know who their second receiver is? Geronimo Allison. You know how the Packers got started? By Curly Lambeau getting a loan from the Indian Packing Company.
Huh.
It will also be the Packers' 33rd playoff appearance, and if they win, it'll be their 19th division win. It's order out of chaos. But Geronimo, you know who sold Geronimo's bones 100 years ago? George Bush. Skull and Bones.
All right.
It's all there, man.
All right. Very interesting. A lot of information. Appreciate it, man. Keep it going. Have a good night. All right. Let's go out to New York City. New York. You're on, New York.
Hey.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Hey, Seth. I just want to piggyback on Rambo said. 143. I know you got a lot of calls, so I'm going to make this quick and short. I got a lot of good nuggets. 143. Actually, you heard of the guy named what was it? It was Dick Rimbing. Dick Rimbing.
Okay.
Rimbing.
Okay.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard this guy?
Tell me more about it.
Dick Rimbing.
Okay.
Well, he was a quarterback coach for Bill Belichick, and he was assigned to look for the next best thing. And he was the one who founded Tom Brady, 143, and Tom Brady, the number 199 pick.
Right.
143 has to do with Dick Rubin. He used to do that as a secret code message to his family, meaning "I love you." And actually, ESPN did a special on him, and the title of that show was 143: The Legacy of Patriots QB Coach Dick Rubin. And the story to this, what happened was, he actually never got. There was a quarterback battle, and he died before Tom Brady could throw a professional snap. So,
yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna make this quick because I know you have a lot of callers, and I'm gonna just the way Tom Brady got inserted into the game as his first, he got inserted. Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and he was the replacement.
Right.
So that's how he got replaced.
And you got to think about it. You got to think about it. Drew Bledsoe wore the number 11, right? 11. That was the big number on 9/11. And he got hit by the New York Jet, Mo Lewis, just like how the World Trade Centers look like big 11s on the 11th day of the 9th month in the 11th state, New York. And then I believe that was on the day leaving 99 days left in the year where Tom Brady came in. 9 times 11 is 99. The word Patriot equals 99. The Patriot Act, the Patriots. So, yeah, it was a perfect ritual there with Mo Lewis. I think Mo Lewis equals 33. Yeah, go ahead.
I got more of that, though.
Okay.
So Bledsoe, he wore number 11, right?
Right.
And he got replaced by what number?
12.
11, 12. Isn't that what a coincidence?
Right. I think it was the 23rd. I think it was September 23rd, the day it happened. So 11 plus 12, 23, the 23rd of September.
And look at this. This is something else I read also. This is our Wikipedia. During the second game of the 2001 season, Bledsoe was hit by New York Jets linebacker Mo Lewis and suffered a sheer blood vessel in his chest, which almost resulted in his death. The meaning of that is his name, his last name. And look what happened.
What happened?
Isn't that weird? No, his name, Bledsoe.
Oh, Bledsoe. Yeah, great point.
He suffered a sheer.
Great point.
Isn't that ill? That's kind of,
Yeah.
He suffered a severe sheer blood vessel in his chest. So look at that. And also, one last thing I'm going to make a point of, you know, the accident, Venus Williams, right? She had that accident, right?
Right.
Where she accidentally killed a pedestrian. Not an accident that ended in fatality, right?
Right.
You heard about that, right?
Right.
So Venus Williams. So the time she also has a clothing sports line named 11. The word 11.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So the timestamp of the accident, according to TMC, 111.
Of course. Perfect.
So the accident happened before she did the clothing line.
Yeah, rituals.
But that's all I got. I'm gonna leave it up to the next caller. I've been waiting a long time, and I know you got a lot of calls.
All right,
online.
appreciate it, man. Take care, Izzy.
All right.
Thanks. All right, Colorado, if you can hit us in 30 seconds to a minute, that'd be great.
Hey, Zach, what's up? First time caller, man.
Thanks for calling in.
I just wanted to, man, I'm just going to compartmentalize really quick and let you know what's up. All right, so it was actually really interesting. I found you from when Max Miller died or whatever. And I found your channel, and then the next month, ironically, I ended up going to Washington, D.C., and me and my roommate, who got really into this too, we went to the Scottish Rite Masonic Museum, and we took the tour. I remember you said that the Scottish Masonic
right museum is the most Jewish sect. And I just want to point out to the callers, to everybody, we got to be very specific. It's not just Jews; it's Zionist Jews.
Right.
And anyway, before we took the tour, there was this. It was almost like fate. There was this window sealed book. There was a book under window seal, so I couldn't pick what page it was on. And I took a picture of the page because for some reason they let us take pictures, but we couldn't take videos. And I took the picture of the page, and it confirmed everything what you were saying. But it was weird because it was coming from a conspiratorial source, it wasn't coming from a conspiratorial source. It was coming from the Masons themselves. And the page, I took a picture of it. I'd really like to send it to you. It's called The Kabbalah and the Secret Doctrine of Israel. And to summarize, the page has got really good artwork, and it shows the 72 names of God, which is very symbolic in Kabbalah, which I ironically was really familiar with Kabbalah because during that phase when Madonna made it all popular, my sister got into it, and I read about Kabbalah, and I thought it was kind of interesting. But then I didn't really know about, I guess, what we call conspiracy theory, even though I hate that term. You know, we all know the CIA created that term to disregard the critical thinker in the 1950s. Because it's like that guy was talking about neurolinguistics. It's programming. It's programming to disregard what anybody's saying as soon as you hear conspiracy theories. But anyway, so this picture has like the 72 names of God, and it starts out with the name Albert Pike, which is one of the most, powerful Masons ever to live. And what it pretty much sums up to is that in the Talmud, what it says about how they believe that they're the secret chosen people of God, and only they are allowed to know true knowledge, and we're all cattle, so they're allowed to lie and manipulate us. And, it's ironic with that one caller who was pretty much a white nationalist. I find it ironic because they don't realize, those people who are white nationalists, that the Nazis was a perfect, way to gain Israel, the Holy Land.
Right.
Because if you think about it, a lot of Jews died, but it wasn't the powerful Jews, it was the poor ones. The powerful ones, where'd they go? To the U.S. And we all know about Operation Paperclip that harbored the Nazis after World War II. That was in here and also in Argentina and Chile.
Exactly.
And,
hey, caller, you're nailing it. The music's about to start, so please send me that thing, and please call back again. Great caller. My email is Gematria Effect News.
I also know Spanish, bro. I speak fluent Spanish. I can translate shit.
Awesome. Appreciate it. We'll be back next week, everybody. We ran out of show. I'm going to stay after. You can hit me up on the Gematria line. Until next time.
This is Dennis Dunnan. I'm unable to answer your call.
Well, I was trying to call back a guy who was on hold for like the whole show, and he was calling this number earlier. He probably didn't pick up because he was probably on hold on the he was probably waiting on the other line. So anyway, I am going to stay on for a little bit more. I'm going to call back this guy who I also said I would call back, and then I'll open up the line to other callers. My back hurts, though, again. I'm toughing it out tonight, but I'll stay on for a little bit. Been sitting in this chair way too much. Maybe nobody wants to pick up anymore.
Hello.
Hey, I said I'd call you back at the end of the show. You said your mother just passed. I'm sorry, and you wanted to look into it.
Yes, I do. I'm going to turn your show off here. I'm watching the end of it. My name is Charles, by the way, and I'm sorry. You have to go by which name do you want me to call you?
Well, my name's Zach. If you want to call me Zach, that's fine.
Well, no, what do you like? I'm asking, how will you use that? So I don't want to offend you.
Well, you wouldn't offend me if you called me by my name?
Okay. All right. Listen, I live in Indiana. I mean, and I've been a decoder for almost 40 years. I started watching your work in 13. Okay. I've been on the internet since the beginning. Okay, the first day it was available. I was one of the 5 people in Indiana, except for maybe the state, that had internet service. Anyway, I'm not very smart, but I research, you know. I found your work in 13, and I was just amazed by watching it, and I was, you know, doing the same thing as what you were. I discovered it at a similar time, and I didn't understand it, you know. And, of course, I would lose you, you know, but you disappear because YouTube was messing with you, and I keep watching, you reappear again. And I was so impressed because you just kept going and going. I said, man, I really like this guy. I said, he is committed to the truth. So I watch you every day. And, you know, and I spread this on a person-to-person level, okay? Because where I live at is so much, they call it white supremacy. It's not that. I mean, it's just supremacy, period. You know, it's not white. It's just they don't have a color, you know, that kind of stuff don't. Anyway, this was so tough for me like my mother passed. I want to give you some information and see if you just think these numbers mean anything, okay?
Okay.
Okay, her name is Elsie Jane Kellums, and her last name is Kellams. That last name is spelled with an A-M-S. It means that they were, when they come across from North Carolina, is where my family come from into this country, they had to tell them that they were Catholics. And that's to keep from getting killed when you got off the boat.
Sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm universal. I'm universal, but I'm not a Catholic. Okay. Anyway, you know, what kind of numbers do you come up with that? Just her name.
So help me spell her name, because if I spell it wrong, so let's just go through it letter by letter. Elsie, is that E-L-S-I-E?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the middle name?
Jane.
J-A-N-E?
Yes, sir.
And then spell the last name for me?
It'd be K-E-L-L-A-M-S.
Kellums.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her date of birth was 8/19/1935.
8/19/1935, August 19th.
And she passed away with 1 day before her birthday.
August 18th, huh?
Mm-hmm. She did, and that 364 days after her birthday. She was fine the day before. Okay.
Oh, very strange.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I see that's why it's so bizarre. So
it is bizarre, man. Very bizarre. And I started looking at. I just locked up when I started seeing certain numbers. I said, I got to stop. I can't do this. I need help. I need professional help. So I'm calling you, man.
So she was 83 years old, 1 day shy of 84.
84, right? The 83 number. See.
So that's the first thing that stands out, is that she was perfectly fine, and then okay. So August 18th is a date that stands out to me. So, I mean, does your family have any connections to Masonry?
Okay, I'm a wanderer. I'm not a traveler. Okay, so I'm not a Mason. My brother's a Knights Templar.
So this is what's getting curious to me. Okay, so because August 18th, the day she passed, was a date with a life lesson number of 38, and she died at 83.
Oh my God! I knew. See, that's what I got freaked out when that happened. Oh my God!
So the other thing that's really weirding me out is August 18th, 18/8, like 188. That's the Bavarian Illuminati ritual day, and they were established on a date with 99 numerology, and your mom's name equals 99.
Right.
So her name also sums to 153, like the Illuminati. And so she has the numbers for their ritual is what really pops out to me.
Right.
And how did she pass?
Well, see, they told me, I called to talk to her and said, well, she's passed. And I was in shock, but I kept my, I was real cool and calm, collected. I went to the nursing home, okay? I walked in on Sunday morning, and they're kind of just, distant from me, and said, well, she's in there. We left her just like she was. I said, okay. I went in there, and looked like her aorta had exploded. She had blood running out of her mouth. And it looked like to me, and her belly was great big where she bled to death. It looked like somebody got on her chest and pushed real hard and busted her aorta. That's what it looked like to me. I'm not an investigator, but that's what it looked like. And she was my best friend. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life, man. but I took pictures because I think somebody murdered my mother.
Where was she when this happened? Like at a nursing home?
Yes, and I can give you the name of the nursing home. Let's look at it once.
Okay, give me the name of that.
Okay, Payola.
Payola.
Paoli. I'm not very good. I'm dyslexic. Hang on, just bear with me a second. Turn some lights on here. I write it down and I can see what the heck I'm doing.
Tell me where it was at. Where was this nursing home at? Where's the location?
Okay, Payola, Indiana.
Payola, Indiana nursing home. I'm gonna see if I pull it up.
Yeah, it's called Payola Health and Living.
Oh, Payola Health and Living. There we go.
Yeah. And I might take the address and put it in there and put the name.
Payola Health and what again? Payola Health and what?
And Living.
And Living.
Health and Living.
All right. Why didn't that? Let me try it one more time.
Okay.
All right. Let me see. I do not know why it's not getting pulled up on this web search. Seems like that should pull. Am I spelling Payola white? Payola?
Yeah. No, don't put the Y in it. It's Paoli, I believe.
Oh, L. Okay, maybe that's why.
Okay.
I got it. All right. I found it here.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I'd have to look more into it. I guess I can check the numbers on the place, but yeah, I see why you think this. Well, they got some interesting numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm freaking out about, man.
Did you say that? Did you say that you had family that was Knights Templar?
Yeah, my brother's a Knights Templar.
Yeah, so the name of this place connects to Knights Templar.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Okay. I just need to hear it from you, okay? I can't handle it. I need for you so I can get through this. And I don't accept it, but it is. That's why I swear to God, no, that's what happened. She's my best friend, man. And they killed her. And my brother, every time they murdered my dad in 2006 at the hospital, they murdered him. They murdered him. His name, if you want to look in and see if the numbers hit on it, too.
Oh, okay, your brother's name?
My brother's name is Bruce Richard Kellums.
All right, let me type it in. His name equals 84 in the most pure cipher, and your mother went one day before her 84th birthday, and we know what's up with that number.
Yeah, I think no shit, man. And and like my
how old was he?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How old was your brother?
My brother is. I'm 57, so my brother would be 67.
When he passed?
No, my father. You mean when he passed?
Oh, excuse me, your father. Yeah.
My father was 77. He just turned from 76 to 77. His birthday was on 7/7/29.
Huh. And he died at age 77.
Yeah, no shit.
And
then he passed. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How did it sync up with his birthday?
See, you mean like my father?
Uh-huh.
Well, see, he went in for a science operation, and they knocked a hole in that membrane, and they put oxygen to him and pushed it in the top of his brain and sent him home, and then it killed him on the way home. They expanded, and then they shoved his brain back into his brainstem down into his back. They murdered him, man. Because they had life insurance policy on him at this place where he used to work at, and it was coming due for the big money thing, and so they killed him so they could collect. I mean, I know how it works, man. You're talking to somebody that, man, if I get on and talk to you for real on there, they'd kill me probably within 2 days. I can't, so I have to talk to you in private. I can't go on the internet and talk. They won't let me. They'll kill me. Okay? No shit. I can talk in private, but if I go public, I won't be around very long.
Just so you know, we are on the live stream right now. You know that?
God, no, I didn't know that, but
well, okay, I heard you say earlier that you wanted this out there so it could help somebody else, so I apologize.
It will help somebody else, okay? It will help somebody listening that they would be brave enough to look into some things of their own.
Well, I'm sorry I put this out there public. I thought that's what you wanted to do. So
it's okay. It's okay, Josh. Hey, I'm going to die anyway one of these days. It's going to happen.
Well,
so
that's true for all of us.
It's okay.
Well, friend, I'm very sorry that this happened to you, but it does look like your suspicions are correct. And again, this is what's wrong with these secret societies. And I mean, this is obviously what's really going on. So we had 2 callers tonight, yourself and another gentleman. And the other gentleman just talked about how his brother was murdered suspiciously, and his other family member just got a big promotion. So
exactly, it's the way it works, man. This world is run. Well, this is what the American Christians would say that if you're reading your Bible correctly, and Lucifer controls this world. Okay, and this is his world. We're just here, and so these are spells being cast constantly on people. Turn off your TV. Don't look at it. Turn it off. I'm Neil. I will break the spell.
Well, stay strong out there, friend. I do appreciate you being brave and calling in and sharing this information. And again, I'm very sorry about what happened to your family. So,
well, me too. My dad was a wonderful person. His integrity was so high, it's unbelievable. And he was murdered, man. And they tried to murder me with a cancer operation. I'll talk to you in private about it, okay? Can I call you back in private?
You can call me back. Yeah, yes, you can.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody's listening. Keep watching this man. He's teaching you something. Pay attention. Good night.
All right. Take care. Be safe. Oh, man. I mean, it's just, it's unreal. Let me try to call back this guy who tried to call in all night, see if he picks up. I feel bad that he was on hold pretty much the whole show and never got through. Well, maybe he gave up.
This is Jenna Stunning.
Yeah, it's his voicemail again. Well, it's too bad that didn't get through to him. All right. Yeah, it's just it's depressing to think that, I mean, this is the world we live on, and this was really what goes on. And I already know that so many of us understand this, but just to hear it from ordinary folks just calling in, and it just isn't right. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hey, what's up,
I
man?
forgot what I wanted to tell you. I forgot. You know about the Bahamas? They said the only place that really didn't get messed up good was the tourist resorts. Ain't that coincidence, right?
Too perfect.
So you know why? So everything else got destroyed except for the people go for the tourist areas.
So I guess it'll be easy for investors to come in and expand on the tourist areas then.
Exactly. That's it. I just wanted to make that point to you. That's it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up, you guys. I've been doing live streams this week, just from Monday to today. I've probably been on doing live streams for like 30 hours already this week, I would estimate. And in the hours that I haven't been live streaming, I've been probably sleeping a little bit and grinding away. And just like last Wednesday, my back feels even worse. I haven't rested since last Wednesday, so I got to get out of the chair. I do, and I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow. But my body's saying, Zach, you're not taking care of your body right now. Your body hurts because you're sitting in this chair way too much, working way too much. So, but somebody's got to do the hard work. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Hold on. Before I go, though, we got one more great caller. What's up, caller?
Get some rest, brother. Peace.
Hey, no. You called in to say something. What's going on, man?
Oh, no, I don't have anything too insightful to say. I was a little busy tonight, but I just caught the end of the show. I'll listen to the archive.
All right.
Again, I applaud your work, your courage, and everything you've done You're such a compassionate individual, always trying to help people. But keep up the good work and finish.
All right. Good to hear your voice tonight. Take care, friend.
Get some rest, buddy.
All right, will do. Yeah. All right. Slurry says my back can take it. Well, I could tough it out. I've toughed it out this whole show. I got to tell you, to be perfectly honest, before I started the show, I thought about not doing it tonight because the back doesn't feel good. But yeah, let's leave it here, and I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow. In fact, I think I'm probably going to make one more video tonight. I want to talk about the death of Tony Gwynn, one of my favorite baseball players growing up. They retired Tony Gwynn's number on this day in history, and Tony Gwynn played for the San Diego Padres. San Diego equals 38, like death, like murder, like killing, like R.I.P. He died 38 days after his birthday at age 54. Not very old. Baseball's 54. And then they retired his jersey number on this day. And think about how today's the day that leaves 118 days left in the year. The other death number. Hold on. What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, what's up, man? You still on?
I'm still on.
Oh, okay. I'll make it quick. Hey, I just wanted to talk about the death of Trina's mother.
Please.
Did he talk about that tonight at all?
Well, I put out a video this morning. I might have brought it up at the beginning when I was talking about the death of the songwriter for Say My Name, the Destiny's Child song.
Yeah, that's how I found out about it with your video this morning. Trina had a brother. His name was Will. Hold on one second. Okay, Trina had a brother. His name was Will Brent Bain, and he was murdered April 23rd, 2013.
The 113th day of the year, old 113.
And he was 19 years old. Chaos equals 19. And now Trina's mother is dead in the year 2019. And Trina had a boyfriend named Hollywood, and that was Trick Daddy's brother. And he was murdered right before they became famous, Trina and Trick Daddy.
Right.
So she lost, her boyfriend was murdered, her brother was murdered, her mother was murdered, and from the date of her last album release, June 21st, 2019, until the death of her mother, which was yesterday, September 3rd. It was September 3rd, right?
Right.
That's a span of 74 days.
So Trina had a new album this year?
Yeah, and it came out June 21st, and it's called The One.
I did not know that. Rapper equals 74, like Masonic, like occult, like killing, like Gematria, like English. We see that pattern with 74 in rappers too. So there's another one.
Right, but it goes to show you how irrelevant her music is. You know, she drops an album nobody even knows.
Right.
But it's exactly 74 days. And also, I know you want to get out the chair. I'm going to make this quick.
No, it's okay, man. I'll tough it out for your call. Go as long as you want, man.
Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. So there's a rapper named Buddy. He was a member of an Atlanta rap group called Them Franchise Boys. They had a few hits back in early 2000s, like 04, 05. And he passed away August 26th. And he passed away from cancer. And cancer equals 44. He had chemo equals 44. And remember that 3-6 Mafia, they have a song song called 44 Killers.
Right.
The guy who killed Trina's brother in 2013, his real name equals 44.
Again and again.
Yeah, it's okay. It was hold on one second, real quick. He was 27 years old. The person who supposedly killed Trina's brother, right? Hold on a second. So he was 27 years old, right?
Right.
And hold on, there was something to that. Yeah, his real name was Ron Dobson. That equals 44 in full reduction. Like kill, but he was 27 years old, and the word ritual equals 27 as well.
Right.
So is my point about that.
Right. And what was the date of that again? When did that happen?
The date of that was April 23rd,
2013. Right.
2013, and his nickname was Wilbrent Bain. His nickname was Gunk, and he was killed on Northwest 91st Street. 91 is the 13 triangular number. Is that right?
And today, and Trina's mom just died 91 days from her birthday.
Right. Okay. Okay. So that's where the 91 comes in. Trina's mom died 91 days from her birthday. Her brother was killed on 91st Street and 24th Avenue.
And Trina's mom just died on a date with 24 numerology.
It's just perfect. My grandmother doesn't live too far from there. I've driven by this house before. So this is the story. The two men had a dispute, and the victim began to get off his bicycle when Dobson took a firearm from his waistband and shot him multiple times. And he was 19 like chaos, and now in the year 2019, her mom passes. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. It is crazy. And it reminds me that blood sacrifice is 67, which is the 19th prime. So, yeah.
And Rick Ross has a new song called Born to Kill. So I'm like, well, wait a minute, Born to Kill who? Born to Kill Black? Like, you kill Black like his manager Black that was sacrificed?
Right.
What do you mean by Born to Kill,
Right. Yeah, man. It's just, there's too many sociopaths in this world. I mean, I don't know how much of tonight's show, but we had 2 people call in tonight that are just normal people that just had suspicious deaths, and they just wanted to see what I thought. And did you hear the guy who called in whose brother was just murdered as a taxi cab driver, and he said his other brother just got a big promotion in law enforcement?
No, I didn't hear that part. I heard the last guy was talking about his mom and that he can't really talk that much. But I didn't hear that, though. I didn't hear about the taxi.
Yeah, that was earlier in the show. A guy called in. So he said his brother, it was all by the numbers. And he said his brother just got the promotion earlier this year on March 22nd, 322. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I was thinking as far as the NFL preview goes, we should do it week after week 3, because that way we'll get a better feel of, that way we can probably make a more accurate prediction, because we'll have a good feel after the week 3 games. You know what I mean?
Did you see what I was saying yesterday about yesterday's story, the Year of the Black QB, how ESPN had that story up on September 3rd?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's got me thinking.
And well, remember, Teddy Bridgewater is black, and he's the backup quarterback for Drew Brees, and he's from Miami,
Right.
where the Super Bowl played. And the last preseason game, the Saints played the Dolphins.
And think about things like Andrew Luck too. Andrew Luck, now Jacoby Brissett took his spot, and he's from Miami. So, yeah, there's some things.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Jacoby Brissett was from Miami.
He went to Miami. That's where he played ball, didn't he?
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Super Bowl is actually on his 54th day of his age too, which is interesting. So, yeah, there's some narratives going on. Yeah. Well, great work as always, man.
Yeah, I'll let you go. I just wanted to throw that in there. Those were just some initial thoughts, but I'm gonna look more. Oh, one last thing. This is the last thing. Hold on. Okay, wait a second. Okay, there's a rapper named Box Carlito, and he's from North Carolina. And this is the story. A few months ago, he paid $2.5 million for a bond to get out of jail, apparently, right? His name is Box Carlito. He was reportedly killed today, which is yesterday now, 9/4. So that just happened yesterday, September the 4th. His name is Box Carlito, and he's a rapper from North Carolina. And his name is full reduction is 47 in English ordinal 119.
So, and again, today leaves, for me, it's still September 4th. I'm on the West Coast, but today leaves 118 days left. September 4th leaves 118 days left in the year, that big death number. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that was it. I'll let you go. All right. Hey, have a good night. Get some rest.
I'll try, man. Great work as always. Appreciate it, Jonathan. All right, take care, man. So go figure. Trina, the mom, dies 74 days after her new album. I didn't even know she had a new album. I haven't heard about Trina since the 90s. And Trina was no lady, that's for sure. But 74 days after the birthday. I mean, it's just the same patterns again and again and again. And what bothers me is that this knowledge doesn't make the truth community buzz like flat Earth. And like, it's fine if you think the Earth's flat, but thinking the Earth's flat is not going to help end the ritual murders, the rigged elections, the scripted wars, literally, the propaganda every day. But the one thing I do like about the flat Earth community is it gets people to question things. But it's just like, it doesn't. Never mind. It's just the whole truth community should be sharing this knowledge. And do understand the website that I'm building. It's not about this research. It's about just uniting people who care about truth. So when the website is built, and I really want you guys to support the website and be a part of the website and the community and network and tell other people about it, because it's very expensive. Like the price tag is really expensive, and I'm just thinking, man, this better help us further the cause as much as this thing costs. Hold on, we got one more caller here. Caller?
Yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I want you to look up equivocal language, because I was to touch on what you was talking about, neuro-linguistic programming, and that has you can look up the definition right now and read it. It's equivocal language, and it tells you how English is meant to deceive you. And that caller, that white nationalist, you white and black, right? Those are political terms. Like, if you don't know Chaldean or Sumerian or Hebrew, you need to sit down and read. But yeah, you looking at it?
I got it pulled up here. Yeah.
What does it say?
It says equivocal, a word or expression capable of
Equivocal language.
Sure. Well, I mean, it'll still apply to a language, but a word or expression capable of different meanings, an ambiguous term. So, yeah, I understand where it's going with language, and English is very much that way.
Like, English is new, so people need it. Anyway, you had a good show. Good show. Great show, Zach.
All right. Appreciate it, friend. All right. Thank you. Take care. All right. All right. I am going to wrap it up before I get another call. If I don't pick up the call, it's because I left the room. I got to, the other thing I haven't done today is eating. So I'm going to go chill out for a little bit and eat probably some fresh veggies out of the fridge. I hate when people say that the vegetarian diet is the New World Order diet. It really isn't. And by the way, I'm not vegetarian. I eat some fish here. I eat a little bit of eggs here and there. But if you do eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, it will keep you younger. And it'll definitely help you give more energy too. So, all right, Truth Seeker. Till next time.